Right. General? No, not general. Live RN. Live. Real ninja. All right. There we go. Okay. Get a little refresh. Click this. Pop this out. And let's wait for the shit show to start. Mr. Gecko, what's up? Good to see you. First one in, right? What's up? I always feel so I always feel so like I've been walked in on while I'm in the shower, you know, when somebody pops in. It's like eventually somebody has to, right? But when somebody actually does pop in when I first start, it's like I don't know, it's like somebody walked in on me toweling myself off or some shit. I'm just sitting here yapping to myself about whatever. I don't know. But yeah, what's up, Mr. Gecko? Good to see you. While we wait, while we wait, um, there we go. Hopefully the delay isn't so bad tonight. I don't know. There's only one way to figure it out. Your surgery is in an hour and a half. Are you gonna die? Nah, you're not gonna die. No, but you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Yeah, you'll be good. Yeah, you're gonna ace that surgery. You know, you're gonna get the thing taken out or repaired or reconstructed or whatever the fuck. Um, Dina, are you getting a BBL? So is that why you're not trying to tell anybody? Is it a BBL? It's a BBL. Okay, got you. All right. Well, there we go. Jamai, what's up? Jamie? Jamie. Yeah, Jamie. Jamie, what's up, dude? Good to see you. I don't know why from the distance, like your profile picture is so small that it looked like a somebody putting a cigarette in a gas tank. I don't know. Wait, let me test how bad this or good this delay is. All right, let's do this. Let's make sure I am as up and stuck as possible. Man, why am I so far behind? There we go. Okay, there we go. Now let's replay an alert. 3 1,000,
I'm
4
so offensive.
1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7. Okay, so about 7 seconds behind. Okay, we'll take it. That's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, well, I hope your BBL goes all right. Hope your BBL goes all right, Dina. Lord knows you need it. Good evening, heathens. What is up, God equals? How's your day? Botrix has correctly joined the channel. Botrix, get the fuck out of here, dude. I gotta remove this thing as a mod on YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now. Streamlabs works perfectly. I don't know why. Botrix is even here. Give me a second, y'all. Community moderation. Botrix. Save. Get the fuck out of the stream. Douche, man. Botrix is such a low tier bot for chats. Except for Kick. It'll do for Kick, but everywhere else it is just so low tier. How's it going, bro? It's going. What's up, Twilight? Good to see you. We're just getting started. It's like the pre-game yap session, you know. Mind you, it's a nose job. Oh, okay, got you, got you. Are you getting like a polyps removed or something? If that's the case, then I need one of those too. My voice would probably be even deeper if I got my polyps removed. But yeah, you'll be all right though. You'll be okay. You'll be decent. No matter what it is, you'll be all right. Unless it's like a heart removal, then in which case that could be a little, I don't know. You get me. Pre-gaming, yeah. I might as well get an actual pre-game in. I still got some wine from yesterday. I wasn't hitting the bottle nearly as hard yesterday as I did the day before. What's the funniest joke God ever told? Condemning homosexuality and then putting males' G spots up their ass. I feel like that's a pretty huge joke for sure. Yeah. It's like, oh, don't be gay. But the pleasure center, up your old poop shoot. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Thanks. Appreciate that. Last stream got 20,000 views. Yeah, I'm each stream is getting bigger than the one before it. I'm super outlandishly grateful for it. Completely horrifically outlandishly grateful for it. Yeah, it's you know, I wasn't expecting anything close to like in the thousands, much less the tens of thousands of views over the course of 2 hours. My old streams, I used to go like 5 hours and get like 300 views, and I was still grateful, obviously, but I just didn't expect it to grow this much this quickly. I hope there's still some more to go for sure. Prove there is no God. Time's always existed, therefore God didn't create time. Therefore, there you go. Found the stream just doom scrolling yesterday. That's how a lot of people find the stream. It's there is a just on shorts. If you're in my time zone, like past midnight, nothing going on, just scrolling the shorts algorithm, then you come across an atheist. Boom. The more people, the more attention seekers up. Yeah, true. I don't know, small price to pay for salvation, I guess. Telling Abraham to kill his son and then popping out with a camera shot and it's just a prank. It was a pretty funny joke. Yeah, it was kind of a wild one. Or here's a good one. Make it humans without the ability to know bad from good, or good and evil from each other, and then making obedience an evil thing or disobedience an evil thing, and then also putting a big juicy fruit tree in the center of the Garden of Eden. God has some dark humor. He's a little silly goofball, He's a pretty little silly goofy guy for sure. Yeah, he's got some weird. He's like that one dude. I think we all have that one coworker, or have at least had that one coworker that's just off. Yeah, he's that off coworker, except with omnipresent abilities and omnipotent abilities. Anyway, cheers. Let me get a little sauced up. Get my little tiny bit of social anxiety melted down like some compound butter really quickly. 1 second. I haven't heard of that. What's that, Zafir? Just respect his opinion and beliefs. Oh, thank you, Ace Edits. We all have the absolute right to be wrong. Hope you're not wrong. YOU apostrophe RE. Yeah, I'm not going to hear whether or not I can be right or wrong from somebody that doesn't know how to spell. Just seemed like a chill stream, and I was like, why not? I'm asked stuff. Yeah, fuck it, why not, right? Yeah, just do the engagement, shoot the shit at least, right? God not wanting us to be like Satan while also making him the hottest angel is pretty funny too. Yeah, kind of funny how that works. What's some other jokes that God did in his little silly goofiness? Said he would never need human sacrifice again, and then literally sent himself down to earth as a human to be sacrificed to himself. Little known fact, Jesus suffered from a swollen taint is fucking crazy, dude. Ew, gross. Jesus had prostate cancer. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Also, what's up, Rip, and what's up, Darren? Good to see you. Why am I an atheist? If so, the quick answer, or the not so quick answer, because where chat's not jumping yet, is that I read the Bible, looked at the evidence for the Bible being true, found none of it convincing. Right? No, not the evidence. Right? Look, the evidence. Yeah, looked at the evidence for the Bible being true, looked at the evidence for God being true, and didn't find any of it convincing. So that's why I left. Just looked for the things, tried to substantiate my beliefs, and my beliefs did not hold up to the fires of logic. So that's why I left. Maybe believers see the stream, right? LOL, you wrong, and leave. Boost algorithm. I'll take it, honestly. Fuck it, right? It's like it gets me out there, gets the message out there, gets me in the space, and gets me in a position to where I can really start making the content I want to make. Oh yeah, absolutely. And maybe in a far future, puts food in my fridge, right? Jesus died of poisoning by heavy metals, namely iron nails. Yeah, yeah. No, the thorn crown wasn't made of metal, but yeah, the What? Imagine if Jesus died from just something completely, totally unrelated to the crucifixion, and nobody knew, like he had an enlarged heart or something, and then they just so happened to have crucified him when, by the time I was about to go into cardiac arrest. Wouldn't that just be so hilarious? Like he didn't actually die for your sins. I don't know. We should not make fun of anyone. Just have your opinions. There you go. Sure. Of the people, yeah, I would tend to agree. There's a God. You look at a building and know there's a creator. For it, there's always a creator for Earth because it's detailed and too beautiful. Even the Earth parts that like the tectonic plates that cause earthquakes and tsunamis, that's beautiful too. Or the sun that we revolve around being carcinogenic, is that beautiful? Or the volcanic eruptions that fry people to absolute crispy bits, is that beautiful too? Or just the stuff that you like. What's up, Fernando? Good to see you. Have a question? Go for it. All right, Marco. Come on. Why are we still doing this, dude? Marco, what are we doing? God damn it, Marco. Good to see you too. Anyway, Jesus died from a scraped knee while on the cross, which is why it only took 3 days for him to come back. Yeah, it's just he was holding the cross. He didn't hit his bench earlier, so he fell, scraped his knee, got an infection. Satan went to God and was like, "This Job guy only likes you because you gave him a good life." And God was like, "I bet," and proceeded to destroy everything Job loved. Yeah, even his family, right? But they were like, "Oh no, he gave him a new family." Like, motherfucker gave him a silver medal. Are we fucking joking? The water you're looking at that didn't made by itself. It was made from someone, not just an accident. These are all baseless claims, right? I do agree that the water wasn't made by itself or formed by itself, but I'm failing to see how hydrogen and oxygen fusion requires an intentional being to create it. I feel like that's just unfounded for sure. Is the sun good or bad? It's both. It's both. Agnosticism is the god of the gaps as much of a fallacy as the god of the gaps. I mean, Mark, I'm gonna let you so that people don't think that you're actually an op. I'm gonna let you I'm gonna let you do your thing. I love snakes offering me apples from trees. Yeah, it's like I'm a granite. Like I'm gonna eat that shit too, man. The hell. I already answered your question, Fernando. Yeah, there's no reason for me to think that the formation of H2O had to require some intentional being to create it. If you want to argue that things existing require a creator, then you'd have to say the same about God too, if you believe he exists. This is the dumbest live of all time. I appreciate your opinion, awesome girl. Prove there's no God. I have told you already addressed that earlier, David. But the burden of proof isn't on me, it's on you. Right. I'm not deviating from the default position. Nobody's born believing in any particular God, much less the Christian God. So if you believe in it, show why you believe in it, or just say it's about faith and keep it pushing, right? Am I gonna make more videos? Yeah, I got a lot of long form video ideas. A lot of them obviously require like a face reveal and travel, things like that. So not right now. Well, I've only made like $200 doing this on YouTube at least, but in the future, absolutely, yeah. But in the meantime, like the ones where I could just sit down and yap, like just gotta find the time, too. That's my biggest issue. Uh, I know you're not trying to be rude, but it's nothing rude about making bad arguments. I just think your arguments are bad. Okay, yeah, my house that I live in requires an architect or a builder. Yeah, I agree on that because we can verify that houses aren't natural. We can't do the same for a universe. We can't do the same for anything that appears to be natural within our universe. So to just say, oh, other things are created, therefore everything is, I could just take it the other direction and say rocks aren't created, therefore nothing is. Both of these would be bad arguments. Jesus doesn't want religion. He doesn't like religion. He just wants you to allow him into your heart. That's called a religion. I don't know why Christians are so hesitant to call their religion a religion. I get wanting to separate it and make it feel like much more special than the quote unquote false religion, sure, but there's literally nothing about Christianity whatsoever that separates it from the definition of a religion. I allow Jesus to penetrate. I'm about to allow Jesus to penetrate later tonight for sure. God bearing the weight of sin and all mankind only to go for hell for a few days was the biggest prank he ever pulled. Yeah. You're a pantheist. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. My bad. When someone devotes a channel to debating no God, you know there is one. By that logic, if somebody devoted a channel to debating whether or not Superman existed, that would mean Superman exists, right? Or is that, we just staying in retard land tonight? The Matrix, how you doing tonight? I've always been an atheist. When I was taught the Tower of Babel, I think it was a cool myth about how people want to explain language. I think in the future, many will see the Bible like that. Yeah, as long as Christian nationalism doesn't sink its teeth into the world and to as badly as it is now, and more people have access to information, I feel like it'll die out eventually, just not for at least another quite a few generations. What do people at your school don't believe in science? I couldn't tell you, man. I think that's unacceptable. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. The Matrix. Did you ever read and invest in the time for scholarship and reading the Bible? Outside of looking into apologetics, not really. Like I don't think there's anything about reading two translations of the Bible and reading words and knowing what words mean and being honest about what the words say that constitutes me needing to go basically get a PhD in theology to figure it out just because somebody doesn't like my conclusion that I drew from it. Jackson, don't spam. It's my only warning, dude. What's your thoughts on tipping culture? I feel like if we're gonna own establishments, we should pay our workers living wages. So I feel like if we're in a culture where we're allowing restaurants and other establishments to exist where we don't pay our workers fairly, like if we're allowing that, it's unfortunate for sure. So by all means, do what you can to make sure the person that's helps you out here gets meet that, so they meet their bottom line. But I don't think in a better world, I don't think it would even be a thing. All right, Jackson, I'm gonna go get you on out of here. You can have a good rest of your night, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead get you on off my channel real quick. Wait a second. Wait. What is this? What is this? 24-hour timeout. Skadoosh. 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 Skadoosh, man. Skadoosh. Get out of here. Well, I don't subscribe to religious theory. I can't actually dispute the existence of such an entity given the infinite possibility that eternity presents. I would agree with that. That's why I'm ultimately agnostic about it. But everything that I learned about the universe so far, at least scientifically or logically, either outright points to a God not being necessary or doesn't allow space for a God to be put in there. Would you turn away from Jesus Christ? I left religion because I didn't find it convincing, right? I just looked at the evidence for it, didn't think it was true. What started me leaving was reading the Bible. I read the Bible, started thinking about God differently after I finished it. Looked at apologetics. They seemed kind of dishonest in their argumentation. I'm already drinking too much. And then I looked at the evidence for God and I found none of it true. Good douche, 7:43 a.m. Time to call it a morning sig. Let's go. Oh, so what's up, Jack Daniels? Good to see you. 7:43 for you. You're 7 hours ahead than East Europe? East Europe? On water drinking habits, are you a hoardy or a verdy guy? Definitely a hoardy. Yeah, I feel like tipping the bottle way up is kind of weird. See here, you did all the work. We're all sinners. She's paid the punish. Oh, just preaching. Okay. Atheist POV on consciousness for me, an emergent property of a working brain. I was gonna go with another explanation and it's like stop short, but an emergent property of a working brain. Anyway, Judgment Day gonna be rough for you, man. I have no reason to feel any fear from that, dude. I'm sorry, right? Like, if we want to come in and threaten me, then at least prove that your threats are true. Otherwise, I'm just gonna think you're, threatening me with nonsense. How does matter make up consciousness? Emergently, the same way that acetic acid and sodium bicarbonate mixing together causes carbon dioxide, an exothermic reaction. Exothermic? Yeah, exothermic. Are you the coomer? What do you mean the coomer? Who's the coomer? What do you mean by that? I don't coom. I coom. I do some cooming. Finland, my guy. Ooh, Helsinki or like you don't have to say the city, but Helsinki, somewhere in there. Apologize for not saying hello. No, you're good. No, you don't have to come in and greet me. You can get down to business. Yeah. How you doing, Mr. X? Just got here. Can you sum it while you're not Christian anymore? Or do you have a video I can watch if you explain it? I have a video. It could save a lot of time. Do exclamation Y in the chat, either the letter or the word. Either one works. And Streamlabs will give you a link to the video where I explain what 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 happened. I didn't threaten you, man. No, you did threaten me, right? Saying Judgment Day is going to be rough for you, that's a threat. It's a veiled threat, right? If I were to say, nice soul you got there, eh? Be a shame if something would have happened to it. Like, that's a veiled threat. Like, let's not pretend like it isn't. Do you still have morals or did you change your mind? I have morals, right? I have moral convictions for sure. Did not tell Hugh what Coomer. I know what a Coomer is. It means something else. Why would anyone believe that God does exist after reviewing both sides of the issue? Any honest reviewer would conclude that there's no evidence that God is real. Yeah, I'd agree for sure. A being with a mind making all of this, it just seems unnecessary. At least if you learn enough about the universe, right? No, exclamation Y, not just the letter. Exclamation mark Y. I'll do it for you. Either or works, but yeah, not just the word. Yeah, that's how you do it. You can also do that for all my socials too, and it'll pop up. Uh, is bacteria conscious on its own level? What's the word I'm looking for? The evidence that we have so far points to bacteria not being sentient. So, having the ability to biologically do things based on different environmental pressures, sure. If you call that consciousness, but if you're talking about can it think like us, it doesn't have the brain that operates physically in a way that ours does. What do you think of Leviticus? Awful, awful book. What are your top 3 cheeses? Pepper Jack number 1, um, Swiss number 2, sharp cheddar number 3. Well, for snacking, it's a tie. For snacking, sharp cheddar number 3. For burgers, American number 3. Your faith wasn't strong enough. I agree. Yeah, I don't think. But that being said, I think it's a good thing for somebody not to just have random faith in things that very obviously appear to be untrue. Would you change your mind if you saw something supernatural in person? It would be at least kind of convincing, but would it be overall convincing? I'd have to. It depends on the claim, right? Or the thing I've witnessed. I don't understand why some feel that if you do not share the religious concepts, that you can have morals or some internal guidance to know bad from good. The cynical part of me says that they're not being entirely honest about that idea that you can't have any sort of morals whatsoever. I would imagine a lot of them do think atheists are maybe mean people, but to say we have no morals, I feel like in my experience, it's more so something that people use to try to use their religious convictions to basically hijack someone's sense of moral conviction for sure. Motherfucker said, "Womp womp, God is real," but he fucked around and just said, "Whoa," period beforehand. What a fucking moron! Ugh. Pepper Jack is insane. You definitely need Jesus. Pepper Jack is amazing. What the fuck? Do you believe heaven was in this realm or in a different realm from this world? I used to believe it was in a different realm, but I mean, right now I don't believe heaven exists. Period. Right? Are you sure you were a Christian? I'm not reading the rest of that. Yes, I was. Cheddar is a basic choice, but very reasonable for almost any application. Yeah, I think about like the versatility of cheese, right? Like you could put it. It's when I think about cheese, I'm thinking goes good on like a gourmet burger, goes good on like a fast food burger, and also goes good on like a backyard grill. Having a cookout in July sort of burger, and pepper jack's the best for all 3. Uh, Proper usage of supernatural. Hey man, your toupee is supernatural. It's fucking crazy. If I ever have to wear a toupee, fuck that. But yeah, that's about as close as we can get to supernatural, right? You can't be former Christian, no such thing. No, Rapture, don't say that. I'm going to now debate you and not pay attention to anybody else and give you the weird satisfaction of defending beliefs that you have that I used to have, I guess. Yeah. What did you think you were going to get with that, man? Like, hello? That's probably going to be my next video. I'm going to ask people who think I wasn't a Christian or who at least try to communicate that to people. Like, why do they say it? You're right. Like, I understand wanting to be mean or wanting to invalidate people. I honestly get that if that's the intention. But if you genuinely think that, then what becomes the point then, right? Like, where do we go from here? Anyway, that's enough attention. Blessed are the cheesemakers, for they shall inherit the wheel. Amen. Bacteria has metabolism, so it can be considered conscious. What about virus particles? I don't think viruses are conscious. I don't know. I'm not seeing what we're getting at here, though. You know, like pop quiz on the different levels of sentience or consciousness that different species have. Like, where are we getting at? You like ice cream? I love ice cream too. I got some salted caramel ice cream in the freezer. The last of it. I'm probably gonna crush up some cinnamon toast crunch and eat that together and get really, really high before I do so. Would being an atheist rule out alien life completely? No. Or at least not for me, right? Because aliens aren't gods necessarily. Or alien life, I should say, isn't a god figure necessarily. So, you know, it's like something that also is able to metabolize and self-replicate that exists and originated on a different planet is going to be different than a mind that created everything, right? Have a good rest of your night, Elisha. Appreciate you being here. Do you believe in any type of living thing not on Earth? Yeah, I do believe that alien life exists. Maybe just algae, maybe just bacteria. Who's to say how far along it is? But I believe it exists out there somewhere. I feel like it's logically and mathematically certain that it exists, but I just don't see any. I don't think we'll ever reach it, and I don't think it's ever reached us. If that makes any sense. Whatever you say, Melissa. I don't. Okay, like cool. You subscribed. Welcome in, Madden team. Thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate it. May God bless you. Hope you turn to God again. We're going to do something really quickly. I want to demonstrate the lack of God's power on this stream really quickly. I want every Christian in here who wants me to come back to Jesus Christ to pray right now that I come back to Jesus Christ by the end of the stream. And if it happens, then God is real. And he has demonstrated his power. If it doesn't happen, telling people that they're going to pray that they come back to Jesus Christ is officially considered useless. Let's see here. I watched the vid. I respectfully think you should reevaluate based on what you said. If you found, you know, the year and a half of research that I did into defending my former beliefs to be unsatisfactory, then, I mean, that's your opinion. I wouldn't want to take that from you, but it doesn't constitute me me needing to reevaluate my faith based on you not enjoying the conclusion that I made. That's not how prayer works. Oh, so we can't just like pray for things that we want. Got you. The Lord resists the proud. How can the Lord resist anything if he's all powerful? So odd to me, Christianity is seen as a default spiritual belief in America. At least you should really think a God would make a planet for the sake of flooding it and then bringing it back. Yeah, exactly. It seems kind of odd, right? Like, I don't know. That's part of why I deconstructed is that after reading the Bible, like God seemed to have some really, really human intentions. I spent my whole life thinking I can't possibly understand God, couldn't possibly understand what he would do, why he would do the things he does. You know, finite mind, infinite God, right? Fair enough, right? But reading the Bible, it made me realize, like, I could see why a human would favor the Israelites so much. I could see why a human would feel things like anger, but I can't see why an all-knowing, all-powerful being who created everything would ever feel these things or entertain these ideas like jealousy, disappointment. Like, you know, I don't know. It seemed kind of odd to me. Cannot imagine leaving Christ after what he saved me from. It took hard work. I can't comprehend this. Well, stay long enough and maybe you'll be able to comprehend it. Or you can scroll away. That works too. People have clearly never heard of the God's rock paradox. Yeah, that shows that omnipotence gives way to logical paradox, making it logically impossible. Let's see here. That's just preaching. Imagine a trumpet start blowing. I'd be like, oh my goodness. Oh, daddy. Okay, never mind. No, I'm not going there. There's a Bible passage stating that if two or more people pray for it, the Lord shall grant it. Yeah, it says a lot of similar things about the power of prayer. There's one in like I think it's John 14. I forget the exact verse. It's in John 14 though for sure. I could probably read it and figure it out, but the ask for anything in Jesus' name and he shall grant it, right? So, if we believe this to be true, the Bible's true, do the thing. Let's see where it ends up, right? Um, Demonology is just a study of demons or hell like spirits. Yeah, I'm aware what demonology is. Just here to say good on you and don't let the hate get you down. I won't. Good to see you, Orange Toad fan. Uh, Former Christian here, do you struggle with the fear of death or lack of afterlife if you believe that now? If so, how do you cope with it? Not anymore. But when I first deconstructed, I sure did. Yeah, it was a rough thing. Like the biggest issue for me wasn't the fact that I knew there was no heaven anymore because like in order like the three hardest things with that it came that I had to come to grips with in order was the hardest thing was the fact that I wouldn't see my loved ones again. Second hardest was the idea of me potentially going to hell if I'm wrong about my being an atheist. And third was me not going to heaven anymore, right? And in that order, it's like hardest to least hard to deconstruct. How I got over it was like for me, just to explain what I believe about the afterlife, I think it just ceased to exist. I think it's over for you. Imagine before you were born, basically, right? No nothing, no you, no anything, no ability to be conscious whatsoever. Like the same level of consciousness that you had 15,000 years ago. Just, you know, so if you didn't care about what was happening 15,000 years ago, then you won't care about what happens after death either because there's no you to experience it. Nathan can't explain consciousness, beginning of universe, morality. I can't explain consciousness in that it's a philosophical ponderance on it for sure. All of the evidence we have so far leads to the idea that consciousness is just an emergent property of a working brain. If that weren't the case, then brain damage wouldn't change somebody's personality or their thought patterns. We wouldn't be able to map for thought patterns on MRIs and shit like that. So that's where I'm gonna go with now. Origin of the universe, past the point of the Big Bang, physicists, the people who actually get paid to do the science, and not just listen to apologists on YouTube, they don't know what happened before the expansion started because it's physically impossible for us to figure out with our current understanding of physics. So I'm okay with I don't know, but it doesn't constitute a God because that's God of the gaps fallacy. And there's also no reason to think that the universe itself isn't in an eternal cycle of expansion and contraction, right? So that's what I go with. Quantum fluctuations could have done it, but just saying you don't know, therefore that gives credence to my God is retarded. And lastly, morality is based on empathy, based on social expectations, based on your cultural expectations, based on the fact that you have a frontal lobe, which, is going to more so be a feature with social species, and which would allow us to evolve to want to ensure that we can ensure the survival of our offspring and protect each other against predators, meaning that we have to cooperate, meaning we have to have a physical reason to want to cooperate. So, 0 for 3. I don't know what to tell you. Melissa, sounds like this isn't the stream for you. You're going to be our second skadoosh of the evening. I'm going to go ahead and get you on out of here. I do appreciate you being here, but, sounds like we're just here to be contrarian. Sounds like we're not here to be productive. It sounds like you're trying to, how do I best explain it? So, you know how white blood cells, like all they're programmed to do is to attack the viruses and bacteria and pathogens when they come in your body. I feel like Melissa's particular version of Christianity makes her into a white blood cell that is trying to attack what she perceives to be a virus. So what I'm going to do is shut down that white blood cell, get you on out of here. You have a good rest of your night, though. I do appreciate you, but 24 hours and never coming back. You're wicked and you're timed out. Skadoosh, skadoosh, skadoosh. Have a good rest of your night. Appreciate it, but yeah, you won't be coming back this stream at least. Also sounds like you were suffering from succotash. If you tried to make me say that because of my lisp, fuck you, dude. If so, that was pretty clever. I can't even be mad at it. Are you angry? You sound angry, man. Would you even believe me if I said I wasn't angry, or are you trying to do that thing where you just try to like um do like the self-fulfilling prophecy thing where you project an emotion onto somebody, which makes them try to mirror that emotion so that you can like try to play around with me? But I can say I'm not angry. If you don't believe me, that's fine, but you already have your answer, so there's no use of asking me. Bro, me too. I hate this religion business. It's pretty suck. It's pretty suck. It's not fun. Also, W character Naruto, or y'all attacking him? Just trying to have discussions with y'all, and y'all are being mean. Oh, so it's fine. It's okay. It's I've been dealing with people like this for 10 years. I can promise you. Skin is thickened at this point. I have no problem with Christians, but some of the people in this chat are just so arrogant. Believe in God all you want, just leave non-Christians alone. Yeah, at the very least, like if I'm here to have a good faith discussion, if you're not here to have a good faith discussion, why be here? You know, I'll never get it. I think everyone's hangry. I'm not hangry. I ate a really big meal earlier. That was all I ate, but I'm still, content from it. I made hamburger mac and cheese. It was fantastic. I put a bunch of everything seasoning in it too, cause like sesame seeds and garlic and stuff, things that go on a burger. Yeah, it was phenomenal. You believe me? Okay, well there we go. Glad we got over that. Firstly, you're an atheist on the basis of we don't know what's real or not. If we're akin to some type of game, say about reincarnation and the presence of godlike beings and such being prevalent. Yeah, I think that's a good reason too. I just don't see any evidence of any gods being real, so that's why I don't believe in any. What caused the shift? The lack of evidence for God being real is what caused me to stop believing that God's real. What's up, Granddad? Good to see you. How you doing today? I probably won't see your response to it. I'm so sorry. A lot of messages, but what's up? It's good to see you nonetheless. You should have a wall of shame on the stream where you put all the names of the people who deserve to be shamed. I was thinking about doing something like that, but then I realized that I had an epiphany a few streams ago where I said something to the effect of I can't remember what I said, but it was something to the effect of trying to bait people a little bit, right? Like trying to bait the people who are here to be angry into just like showing, trying to be a dick. And sure enough, they did it. And so I feel like doing something like that with people who want my attention or just want to be a troll would just feel incentivized to do so because they'll be recognized for it. So no, I'll throw them into obscurity and call it a day. Shalonda, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. How long have you been an atheist? I've been an atheist for 10 years. 10 years. You trying to put your Mac in my hamburger? What the fuck? Age check? Hello? Age check? Hello? Age check? Have you looked into the plausibility of God, like dimensional structures and a higher dimensional collective one existing at a higher level than the Big Bang? I feel like it's possible. Sure, like our universe is just a construct by a higher dimensional being that exists in some sort of higher spatial dimension. Sure, but I mean, I just don't feel like we have access to that information, and so outside of just hypothesizing it, chewing on it a little bit, I just don't see a reason to accept it. Why did you reject theism entirely instead of just Christianity? Because the reasons that I stopped believing in the one God I used to believe in, like there was the research that I looked into that made me go from believing in one God to believing in zero would apply to all of the other gods that I've heard about so far too. Right. Lack of evidence, nothing about their story being necessary for the laws of our reality, nothing about their story being having more explanatory power than natural explanations for things. And so, I put down the one and I didn't see a reason to pick up any other ones if they met the same standard, if that makes any sense. Have you ever been a host or something like Atheist Experience on a line? No, not even a little bit, but I do hope to in eventually, like at some point. I feel like that'll be pretty fun. Like do some call-ins and I think they want people over 1.6 thousand subscribers though, for sure. Fun story. In one of the more recent atheist, not atheist experience, the line streams, Matt Dillahunty made a gay joke and I said Matt Dilla cunty in the chat, like, like trying to like, oh sis, that's so cunty, T, right? Just being silly. And apparently the mods thought I was calling him out of his name and trying to be a dick, so they timed me out for the stream. But Um, so that was unfortunate, but I mean, it was honest mistake or honest misunderstanding, so it's fine. But yeah, it was all this to say, no, I haven't done so. I hope to. That sounds like it would be something I would be interested in the future, though. Former Christian here, as far as this construct slash matrix is concerned, yes, that is how it works. It's a simulation of sorts, all projected from your consciousness itself. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like our acceptance of our perspective, like the reality that we live in, it's what's um, prescriptive to our acceptance of it and our sensing of it, rather than our consciousness itself being what forms the reality around us. At the very least, the things that are outside of our control. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Leon? Good to see you. Also, what's up, Avi? How you doing today? Matt Delaconte still out there? Yeah, he's on the line now. He doesn't do the AXP anymore. He quit that in 2022, I think. I don't know, a couple years ago. I love Matt, and I wasn't trying to insult him in the slightest, but I guess they saw the word cunt and thought I was, so fair game at that point, right? That'd be dope. Good luck to you. I thought you'd do well on a show like that. LMAO's been Matt Delaconte joke. Yeah, I was just trying to be a little silly, goofy guy, and they thought I was being a troll. So, fair is fair. I'm just glad they didn't ban me forever. So that would have been depressing. You say there isn't evidence, but it doesn't go both ways. Evidence of not being a god? Is that what you mean? Like, is that what you mean? Like evidence of a lack of conviction of, like, a lack of belief in the gods? I don't know. Are you a liberal? Proud one, yeah. I feel like now is probably the perfect time in human history to be a liberal. How do you help Christians see that their Savior's views do not align with their political actions? Um, I'll be completely honest with you. This might be a little cynical of me to say, but I feel like the people who are seemingly intent on doing what's antithetical to Jesus's teachings or God's teachings politically, they might know that what they're doing isn't loving thy neighbor, but I don't think they care. I don't think their moral set is in any way predicated on what they claim they accept, right? Like, I don't think them reading a book that they claim culturally is what rules their life, that tells them to act a certain way, would be enough to make them treat other people in a kind enough way. Because if there's anything I learned doing this, is that if you're intent on being mean to somebody, you're going to be mean regardless of what your religion tells you to do. Which is kind of the case against objective morality, but I digress. So, I mean, there's many ways to do it. I mean, a good talking to could do so. Respectful, common ground conversation could do it in theory, but in practice, I mean, if we're this far gone, I don't think that there's anything you could say that will make them realize that their actions are antithetical to their beliefs. Why atheism? I just don't see any evidence for any gods being real. That's why I don't believe in any. I think it's hidden to give you a choice. I don't believe that's the good way to get people to make a choice, right? Like, let's say, for instance, there's a girl that you're interested in, or that's interested in you, I should say, and you keep getting letters from her, and they're saying like, "Oh, dedicate your life to me. Let's get married," all this stuff, but you never met her. Would that be somebody that you like? If you say, I haven't met this person, I don't know if there's somebody I could really marry and be in a relationship with, would that be rejecting them, or would that be you using your free will choice to not believe they exist? No, you just don't see any evidence that they exist. How the fuck is it already May 2025? I don't know, dude. I was just celebrating the new year with my sister um back in when the year started, and now here we are. Can I search up realism? What, like, right now? No. No, I cannot stop talking to the chat and search up things on Google. Sorry. The supposed Christians would completely ape shit over the bishop at Trump's inauguration. Very Christian of you. Yeah, I made a meme about that when it happened, but this is what made me come to the conclusion that I don't know, it's hot take. I think Instagram has the worst Christians on the internet, or that's like, as far as like Christians on popular social media sites, I think with Instagram it's far worse. At least on YouTube, people can be reasoned with, and TikTok, but on Instagram, they cannot be reasoned with. I'm sitting here putting, this meme out there about them, throwing, like, having a field day with this woman saying have some mercy on people, and their response is, "Oh, she isn't a real bishop because she's a woman." Like at that point, like I think they're just a little too far gone. But yeah, it's very Christian of them, unironically. Communism or not, there's good and bad to it. Oh, what's up, NL dude? Good to see you. What sect of Christianity were you specifically? I'm curious to what theology you believed before. I was a Baptist until I was 16, and then I was in the Apostolic Protestant Church until I was 18. And then after that, I was out of the church, but still believed for like a year and a half. See here, Caleb is about to tell you aren't really a Christian. Oh yeah, it's coming, but we'll see. Uh, Speaking of which, I'm about to be truly drunk though. One second. That's the good stuff. Do I follow the devil? I don't follow the devil. I don't believe that the devil's real. So no. Honestly, I feel the thought that depictions of people and gods and religions are all true on different levels, but we're simply deified through legends and hope, but people twist it these days. It's certainly possible, sure. It certainly has explanatory power, but I mean, at that point, if there's so much removal from the original intention behind these religious figures and no objective mode to or reliable mode to figure out which one is closest to the truth, then I think people like me are fully justified in being skeptical of it and just saying it's none of it's true altogether. Uh, this guy has balls to do this. I don't know. It's pretty appreciate it free. Some of the most judgmental people I've ever met go to church on Sundays. Oh yeah, and an unfortunate thing about me is that I used to be one of them. Were you a Southern Baptist? Kinda, yeah. Like a lot of the Southern Baptist denominations they did move north, ironically, and they more so took root in black churches up here in the north. So Southern Baptist in theology, I mean, but technically I'm in Michigan, so no, in that regard. Instagram seems to be one platform that really bubbles people up in their niche corner. It's an odd one. It's an odd one. As soon as I see somebody with a Thomas Aquinas profile picture, I think I just start blocking them at this point. I haven't met a single honest Thomist doing this. No one like no matter what. Do I believe in right or wrong, like moral right or wrong? I believe in morally preferable and morally unpreferable um actions for sure. Uh Gotta say your voice is extremely relaxed and I feel like I can listen to you talk about anything. I appreciate that, Mikey. Thank you. Fuck it, let's do some ASMR real quick. No, never mind. Kidding. Which commandment said the clergy should have relations with young boys? I guess that was I don't know, Deuteronomy chapter 69, verse 420 or some shit. Can I burn a cigarette off on bum a cigarette off of anyone in the chat? I got some, but I don't. I'll teleport it to you or something. As long as you smoke, as long as you smoke Marlboro Golds. You're not an atheist. You're just confused. Your consciousness proves there's a creator. Doesn't matter what you want to call it. Res Parvis, I want you to Here's why I'm going to throw away quite literally your entire sentence. Like what you said was just like you just trying to be judgmental and condescending. But besides those two things, I'm going to throw it away because you got the wrong your, man. It's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, not Y-O-U-R. So I'm not going to believe somebody believing, saying that they know me and my beliefs better than I do when they can't even spell a fucking word correctly. 5 letters, one punctuation mark. Like, how are we fucking that up? How are we doing that? How's that happening? Like, huh? Hey, atheist, I know you better than yourself, so I'm going to tell you what your actual beliefs are, but also I can't spell a 5 letter, one punctuation mark word correctly. Are we fucking joking? Are we fucking joking? Any skadooshas yet? Like 2 or 3, maybe 4. Less than 4, more than 2. Atheist ASMR win. All right now, let's do it. How you doing today? I'm here to tell you that there's no God. God's not real. God's just a figment of your imagination. I'm going to scrape the God from your brain really quickly. 1 second. Just scrape away the God really quickly. If I scrape a little too far, then you'll never know what your name is ever again. Okay, I scraped away your desire to go to church. Okay, I scraped away your belief that everything came from God in 7 days. Okay, that's enough. No, that's plenty. To be fair, most people don't have English as their first language. Fair is fair. But yeah, I think if we should maybe, and I'm not trying to judge anybody for not having English as their first language. Like WU for knowing two or more languages, but I feel like maybe we should, before we say judgmental shit to people in English, we should figure out what this judgmental shit is spelled like, right? Incest is fine as long as you're saying Jesus songs while doing it. Yeah. But to answer your question, I think incest is wrong, which is why I think that Lot's daughter's having sex with him in the Old Testament is pretty fucked up. So, if we agree on that, then I'm glad we agree that the Bible's full of some fucked up shit. Any atheist ASMR? It's a fresh niche. Yeah, I might have to make a video on like totally ASMR or something. The judgment never stops because, well, hypocrisy. Yeah, and I don't think it ever will, unfortunately. If God exists, what would you think you when you die, hypothetically? I don't. It's impossible to say, right? If my entire eternal existence is dependent on what God thinks is, right to do in this scenario, then, and I'm not the one with the final say, then I'm not the one with the final say. So I know this is kind of a sandbag of an answer, but it's impossible to say one way or the other. NL Dude 77 Archive, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I'm an atheist too, and I stopped being a Christian at like 13 after I read the Bible. Most of it didn't add up or make sense. That's what happened with me too. Except I was 19, and it wasn't as quick as just reading it and then deconstructing right, like immediately after finishing it. But yeah, it took about a year and a half. MJ or LeBron? MJ for sure. You sound like that one guy from San Andreas Radio, Epsilon. Oh, that fucking guy. Yeah, yeah, that was yeah, yeah. I have some memories on that one. How do you reply and highlight an at? If you are on a PC, you can just like use the at sign and then start typing their name, and it'll pop up. You can click it. If you're on mobile, I don't know if it's available. What age did you lose your faith? I was 19 years old when I lost my faith. What's your family's religion? My sister is a deist, and the rest of my family is still Christian. Maybe we're just different because we refuse to believe this life is nothing but a test to get into the good place when we die. Yeah, I don't see why it would be either. I also wouldn't see why an all-knowing God would have to test anybody, or what would be the like, I don't know, everything that when people say it's a test in any sort of regard, all I can think of is the kid that I used that it's this one kid that I met back when I was a medical assistant, and they had cancer. Like, what's the test for them? What's being tested? Like what is there to pass or fail with getting a tumor at the age of, I don't remember how old they are, like 10 years old or something. Ben, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, thank you. Are we in the bad place? If there is a bad place, it's entirely possible we're in it. I'll be honest. See here, you cannot have unconditional love with a judgment. You cannot have true freedom of expression with a limitation. God does not judge you after you die. You judge yourself on the other side. Are you a Christian? Because if that's the case, then you're trying to remove God's power, which it says not to do in the Bible. Was it a smooth deconversion? No, it was in a year and a half, and it was painful, and it sucked. It sucked. I'll be completely honest with you. Everyone wants their questions answered, so the only option is to kind of spam a little bit. No, it isn't. Because if you spam your question like way too much in a short period of time, I'm going to see your question and not answer it and time you out for the rest of the stream because I can't stand that shit. So I do fully get everybody wants their questions answered, and I can't answer every single question, especially when people are repeating so many questions so often. But um, you know, hogging up the chat, annoying everybody else, and annoying me, and thinking that your question is more important than everybody else's, it's just going to get you timed out. Also, what's up, Canadian Fair? It's good to see you, my furry friend. How you doing? That will be the illusion of free will. If God knows all and sees all, he's already seen every possible decision we will face and what decision we will make. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, free will is such an interesting concept in Christianity. And by interesting, I mean bullshit. Real quickly. Jeremy Walker, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. Welcome, man. Good to see you. All that good stuff. Welcome, man. But it's like we want to claim God's all powerful and all knowing and created you, but you have free will. It's just like arguing that characters in the book they have free will, despite even though the author is the one that wrote the book, is the one who wrote the characters to do what they do in the book, and also could have wrote it differently if he wanted to. So yeah, are you happy now? I'd say I'm at peace religiously. Yeah, I'm religiously at peace with my conclusion for sure. I'd say overall happiness is fleeting though. Ronnie and William Stab, thank y'all for the subscriptions. Thank y'all. Welcome in. Good to see you. Have a good, getting ahead of myself. Welcome to the channel. All that good stuff. So, do I not believe in free will? As an atheist, I'm a compatibilist, leaning more so toward a determinist. I think free will is an illusion. I feel like we're ultimately just the universe experiencing itself, but I think within the framework of a universe that works in the way that it does, that we at least have the ability as agents to make what we can perceive to be choices. So I'm more so leaning towards deterministic, ideas about free will. But as a Christian, I'm saying, yeah, if you believe at the very least in an all powerful, all knowing creator, then you can't believe in free will either. I will see the saved in heaven. Well, that's good for you, Mimi. Hell yeah, you have a great rest of your heaven, I guess. Do you play games, and if so, what are the ones you usually play? I used to play so much Valorant. I can't play it anymore. It's unplayable. It's just, I don't know if it's my stress that fucked with me, but I can't play that fucking game anymore. But nowadays I play a lot of Call of Duty. There's this one game called Super Hot. It's like a niche kind of indie game, VR shooter game. Time only moves normally when you move, and so you have time to and there's people trying to come at you and shoot you and shit, and it's pretty nice. I finished it a couple times, but I still like it. It's my comfort game for sure. I like puzzles, mobile games mostly. Do you think everything has already happened and it's all just predetermined? I don't think everything's already happened per se, but I feel like what's going to cause the things in the future to happen have a cause behind them no matter what. A cause that ultimately comes back to the behavior of the universe altogether. And so I don't believe in tenseless time. I think the past and present are just illusory, but no, I don't think we're I guess in a way, kind of. If I did believe in linear time, I would say sure they've already happened, kind of. But whatever ends up happening is going to have a direct cause for it for sure. Super Hot's so good. Not gonna lie, I love Super Hot. Yeah, that's a great game. Valorant has bad balancing issues now. Yeah, I stopped playing it months ago. I can't do it. I still watch the esport. I love the esport. I love watching the pros play it, and because they're cracked out of their minds. But for me, it's just I got tired of getting smurfed on. I just couldn't do it. I was never going to get out of gold dealing with these motherfuckers. Gold was hell, dude. Gold, silver especially. No, silver was hell. I don't know how the fuck I got out of silver, but yeah, it was torturous, man. Especially me being me. I feel like my issue was that I didn't always solo queued. So, just kind of luck of the draw with whoever you get as your teammate. But I'm also not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I'm just getting, dragged down by my team. I couldn't shoot that well. I was okay. I was decent at shooting, right? I wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. But I could IGL like a motherfucker. We could win the round. I would go so far as to say 7 times out of 10 if we just listened to me, but people didn't listen to me, so yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. Anyway, just think logically, brother Prowl. It's more convenient to believe in God in general. What do you have to lose? I have to lose my Sundays. I have to lose the peace that comes with not believing there's somebody watching you and judging you. I have to lose a lot of things when it comes to believing in a God. Even if I wanted to go off of, let's assume for a second I lost nothing and lost nothing and gained nothing with atheism. I still can't force myself to believe anything arbitrarily, right? I can't just randomly right now say, okay, I believe God exists, and all of a sudden I'm a Christian again. No, I got to be convinced. Same way people got to be convinced that something that they know is false is actually true, and vice versa. So no. And lastly, as one great Jewish guy would say, who's actually an annoying, bigoted piece of shit Zionist, facts don't care about your feelings. Do you believe in the nuclear family, or what is your stance on that sort of thing? Nuclear family, I feel like ultimately, yeah, sure. I feel like it would be most optimal if we have like two parent households, you know? But ultimately, I think it comes down to choice. If you mean like, what do I think about, should we incentivize that or look down on people who don't come from that background, or people who don't believe in that? Not even a little bit. I think it's choice first, but personally, I think that we should have two parent households for sure. Atheists in the big 2025. Why does not believing in a God have to be confined to a year? Do you atheists believe the universe had a beginning, or did it always exist? I can't speak for all atheists. I'm so sorry. One second. But personally, I believe it's always existed. I can shoot well is a pretty American thing to say in the game of Valorant. All right, in the game of Valorant. Also, I didn't say I could shoot well. I said I could shoot okay, like decent. You know, I don't know. Beside the point. Well, yeah, it's yeah. Fuck you. I really don't have a problem with people believing in God. It's about the auxiliary shit that's attached to like the objective morality and belief in the afterlife. Yeah. For me, I'd be completely fine with like I'm fine with I respect people, like just people as people, and I respect their right to believe what they're convinced of for sure. But that doesn't mean I have to respect a religion that preaches some pretty awful shit. It's been justification for pretty awful shit, and that people feel complicit in, like even the ones who disagree with the awful shit. Like I can't get down with their complacency with the awful shit that they allow. Like for instance, I was just talking to somebody earlier. I released a video where I showed a bunch of hell threats I've gotten doing this, and somebody was like, "Oh, they're not true Christians. True Christians wouldn't act like that." And it's just like the optimal thing to do would be to say what they said is fucked up, and I'm sorry for that. You know, sorry for that, and you know, fuck them. It wouldn't just be to say, "Oh, these are bad people. Oh, I want to make my religion look good. Let me pretend that they're not actually of my religion." So, do I like length or girth? What the fuck kind of question is that, man? Why are we asking these questions? Do I like length or girth? Hello? Do I like length or girth? Me? A straight man? Come on, man. Girth, obviously. I can't convince you, sir, but all I'll do is pray for you because honestly, I don't have enough experience being a believer so far. Fair, I guess. Yeah, you have a good rest of your night. How can individual choice and deterministic beliefs isn't true determinism linked to all decisions being baked into your DNA and societal upbringing? I would say that it's just basically about whether or not you acknowledge us as individual agents, right? Like I think we are individual agents with the ability to make decisions, sure. But I don't acknowledge that our decisions are going to be completely totally independent from a prior cause. Like for instance, right? Let's take here's a oh, really quickly, Julian. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Um, like just here's an example I like to use a lot. Let's say I had to take a shit right now, and that would leave me with three choices. I either interrupt the stream, go take my shit, come back, or I hold it and in the stream of like when I'm going to end it and then go take the shit, or I just shit myself right now. I'm going to choose one of those three things if I had to take a shit. Let's say I wanted to interrupt my stream and go take the shit, right? Why would I do that? Is it based on my digestive system, being built in a way where it will be just too painful for me to sit here and hold it. Let's say I want to shit myself right now. Uh, it would be based on whether or not I feel like cleaning up my boxers or throwing them out, or cleaning up my pants and throwing them out, cleaning up my bed, throwing it out, or whatever. So there's prior causes to all of your decisions. Is what I'm getting at. Are you a determinist or proponent of free will? I lean more so into determinism, but yeah. Shit yourself right now. I got you. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Wouldn't that be more some sort of intersectional critical theory rather than pure determinism? I never claim to be a pure determinist. No, I say I'm more so like it makes more sense to me, but I wouldn't. I don't think. I think pure determinism kind of ignores individual agency. See, seems he's atheist because people were mean to him. LOL. You know, I'm gonna get you out of here. Actually, you know, yeah, I'm just, you know, you ever see like you said something really mundane. It was inaccurate, but it's just something about it that rubbed me the wrong way to where I just don't want you in here. Probably with the LOL. Um, you know, just wanting to, like it's a mixture of you like very clearly wanting to project you know, like try to invalidate my potential reasons for believing. And also like the LOL behind it just I think that just rubbed me the wrong way. You can have a good rest of your night. Skadoosh. 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 Skadoosh, man. Skadoosh. Fun fact, in the quantum field, there's a version of you that's already shit your bed that's continuing the stream. You know what? Good luck to that guy, man. Godspeed that guy for sure. Hope he's doing all right out there. Trustworthy Mick Legitimate. I love that name. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Why did she leave me? I don't know, dude. I'd have to know more about the situation, right? Was she a nurse? Oh man, that applies to both my most recent exes. And one you know, I'm still cool with and have no issue with. The other, not so much. So no, I wasn't gonna make I'm not gonna make the joke I wanted to make. W streamer always listens to his audience. Exactly. That's what we got to, right? Speaking of which, my ass kind of itches right now because on account of all the shit in my pants. Coke or Pepsi? I'm neither. I don't really like Coke like that unless it's Dr. Pepper. What's up, Warburg? Good to see you. Has anyone ever even stumped you on a question? Because I have been watching these for a couple weeks and I don't think I've seen you lose. I mean, some could say I've lost, right? I guess with me being open to admitting my ignorance on things, I would say there's been situations where I could say, okay, I don't know how to answer that. I'm going to look into that, or you know, and actually do look into it. Have anybody brought up a point that I could not like when they say like, oh, here's an explanation for God, and have I ever been in one of those positions like, okay, here's why God exists, and I couldn't possibly debunk it or show why it wasn't the case or something? I don't think this happened yet. Not really. I guess if it has, then I would be a Christian, but no, I don't think we've gotten there. Not quite a nurse, but close, kind of eerie. It's those damn nurses, man. Those damn nurses, man. The not my most recent ex. My most recent ex is great people, but the one before her was also. They're both nurses, but the one before her was also a nurse. It probably still is. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna trauma dump about her. Just know she fucked me over. Fucked my self esteem. Do you drink coffee, and if so, do you drink it black like a true man? If I got a really good roast, then yeah, I'll drink it black because I really want. I like the like it can taste almost kind of fruity a little bit, you know. If it's like really nicely roasted, really high quality beans. Yeah, I want to drink that black for sure. But typically, I get really cheap shit, and so I got to dump some really huge amount of creamer and a slight amount of sugar in it for sure. Have you ever watched the Duckman TV show? No, not personally. How dumb do you have to be to deny a creator? How dumb do you have to be to deny the fact that everything in this universe having a creator, including that computer? Even rocks? Even rocks? Oh no, to answer your question directly, I would have to be so dumb that I mix up YLU apostrophe RE and YLUR over and over again. If you had to choose a religion, say atheism was Neuralinked out of existence, what are you choosing? If I had to believe in just a God, period, I guess I'd do the pussy way out and be a deist and just believe in like here's a God created everything, and that's just kind of it. Fucked off, doesn't care about us, not personal. We don't go anywhere after we die, and that's just it, right? That would be my God, I guess. If I had to believe in a God that was already established in a world religion that has followers, I would be a Hindu. So who do you think is taking our loved ones away from us? It's not a man. I think our loved ones are just dying, man. Their bodies just stopped working for whatever reason. In the case of my dad, his heart just stopped working. In the case of two of my most recent friends, they just didn't want to be alive anymore, so they got themselves out of here. It's just people, just their bodies not working. Just body shut down, man. Uh, Answer the question. I already answered it with my rock analogy. It would be asinine to say that things that are very clearly don't require a like it's some sort of human intervention in order to exist. It would be asinine to say that things that do require such a thing is proof that the things that don't do require some sort of outside intervention. It's dumb. It's stupid, right? If I were to just say how dumb you have to be to think there is a creator, rocks don't need a creator, water doesn't need a creator, including the ground beneath your feet doesn't need a creator, then you would think that's dumb, as you should, because it would be dumb to say. Two left nuts. That would be kind of lit, dude. My left one's a little bit bigger. Deism, the dad went to go get milk of religions. Yeah, exactly, right. I feel like if I gotta believe in a God, right, like they'll probably explain a lot of things at least somewhat, right? Um like the problem of evil, like, oh, he's not all good, he doesn't give a shit. Okay, fair enough, right? If you believe there's no God, then my question is, do you believe there's absolute morality, good and bad, or is any action justified? Here's the issue with the moral argument, and I don't know why I'll keep watching Cliff Nechtel and just copy pasting it, but the belief that there is subjective conviction when it comes to moral convictions or moral intuitions doesn't necessitate that everything is permissible, right? Like, I want to use your same exact inference rule just to show how stupid it is to say that. Let's say you didn't believe in objective morality. You believed it's so subjective that everything has no tense to it, good or bad. And so the conclusion you can draw from that is that nothing is good morally. Helping a little lady across the street is a bad thing to do. Helping the poor is a bad thing to do. Rape is also a bad thing to do. Everything's bad. And so it really shows people's intellectual dishonesty when they want to assume, oh, you think that there's no objective standard for which people can have their moral convictions. That must mean you think everything is good. And that really is proven by the fact that I think about 95% of the time you follow up me saying I'm a subjective moralist with saying, oh, so X bad thing is good, or some other, like trying to attempt at a gotcha. It's so weird. I'll never get it. If you want actual debates, you're not gonna find them in live chats. I don't want actual debates. I'm not here to debate particular points because people come in like wanting to debate a particular point, right? But ultimately, I'm not after a who's right, who's wrong sort of deal right now. Like, that's part of the reason I don't really do like one-on-one discussions is because for me, I debate to win, right? If I'm debating whether or not God exists, I'm going to debate my premise that I don't believe that there's good evidence or good reason to believe in one. And so I'm not debating for just like ironing over points, who can look the best, who can get the most gotchas on the opponent. I'm here for which one of us is correct. And a lot of people seem uninterested in that being the intentions behind their debate. Like if I got into a debate with Cliff Nechtel right now, like right this second, just he popped up on the monitor, we started debating. I know for a fact that I could steamroll Cliff on his emotional appeal, steamroll him on his presupposition, and he would still be a Christian at the end of it. So it's like if we're ultimately going to stick to our beliefs after having our premises thoroughly squashed like bugs, then what's the point of wasting my time? Or conversely, if I was intellectually dishonest and couldn't possibly think differently about my current convictions, you would be wasting your time to talk to me, right? Anyway, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Evolutionarily speaking, the egg came first. Morning, hope you're having a good day. Hope the same for you, Siren Song. Good to see you. You would lose? I would lose to Cliff? Is that what he got washed by Alex O'Connor? Like, and I mean, dog walked. It wasn't even funny. Horrific. It was like a car crash. It was even worse than a car crash. Who here has seen, I think it was Final Destination 3 or 2, where they were on the freeway? and there was that giant accident on the freeway, and it's like people were crashing and shit was blowing up. That one dude got his had the log truck like get the logs, and like one went through the windshield and crushed him and shit. It would be like that happened. That happened. It was not fun to look at. Uh, a sin to agnosticism. I am agnostic. I'm just an agnostic atheist. Anything you think is good that Bible says is anything you think is good that Bible says is bad. I think slavery is never permissible, and so I think it's bad that the Bible condones slavery, and in particular, God, Jesus, Peter, and Paul condone slavery. I think that rape is never permissible, so I think it's bad that God condoned rape in Deuteronomy 22. I think it's bad that I think it's always going to be not permissible to kill kids, and so I think it's bad that God commanded the slaughter of infants in 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 3. The intellectual dishonesty is where the emotionally charged attacks come from. It's not based on logic or anything even remotely thought provoking, but religious conditioning. Yeah, exactly. It's like at that point, like, why? What am I doing? Right? I'd rather just sit here and yap and, maybe iron out some of the basics with a broader audience instead of just, having somebody who doesn't care to be wrong try to be just insufferable in my ears. I do not suffer the insufferable. Sarcasm isn't an honest answer to what I just said. Somebody asked me if there's anything in the Bible that they say is good that I think is bad, and I just gave 3 fleshed out answers. Terrible understanding of the Bible and world history. World history implies that God is beholden to societal norms, which would imply that God is not all powerful. I don't know if that's the position you want to take. How does he promote it in that verse? Which verse are you talking about? I'll proudly pull up any of the verses you want me to talk about. I got you. Uh, so you're debating just on that point, then yes, you're right, but there is a possibility for a higher dimensional collective entity to exist within our current understandings of the fragmented reality. I feel like once we have to argue for something like higher dimensional or something that doesn't have to abide by the laws of our 3-dimensional manifold, then at that point, like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily not true. I think that would be ignorant, but I'd say somebody like me who exists in 3-dimensional space, it would be perfectly justified in not giving too much thought to the idea of it being real. Deuteronomy 22, I got you. 1 second. Ugh. Deuteronomy 12. I'll pull up the whole chapter. Why not? Let's see here. I'll just read from marriage violations. It's going to be a little bit long because I know Christians are going to, in the chat, are going to start accusing me of taking things out of context. So just to kind of squash that and nip that in the bud, I'm going to start reading like from maybe like 15 verses up. Because I mean, it's still horrific, but horrific in some other regards. This is Deuteronomy chapter 22. NIV kind of sucks. Fuck it out. NIV is good enough. I'll start from verse 13. If a man takes a wife and after sleeping with her dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity, then the young woman's father and mother shall bring her to the town elders at the gate proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I give my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin. But here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has been given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being a promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. Before I get to the rape stuff, isn't that kind of fucked up that God didn't know that 46% of women, only 46% of women bleed on their first time, and so innocent women were getting stoned to death because they didn't bleed when they first got married off. Like, isn't that kind of? But I digress. We're still getting to the main point. If a man is found sleeping with another woman's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel. So, get stoned for adultery, right? If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of the town and stone them to death. The young woman because she was in a town and did not scream for help, and the man because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. So we're, you know, basically saying still on the adultery thing. But if out of the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. So keep in mind, only if the woman is married should the man be put to death if he rapes her. Keep that in mind before I get to these next couple verses. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. So again, keep that in mind. Before I read 28, he's very clearly saying only if the woman was pledged to be married, that's when her rapist should be punished. But if she's not pledged to be married, here's what Moses has to say about it. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. So very clearly, right there in the text, I've even read as far back as context as would have been contextually relevant. God of the Bible condoning rape so long as it's against unmarried virgin women. Ace in the hole, no defeater for it. Anyway, I probably missed so much while I was going off on that, but fuck it. I don't see how that condones it. If you don't see how there shall be no punishment for a man except for now he has a wife and now he has to pay to marry off the person that he victimized after he victimized somebody. If you don't see that as God condoning rape, I can't help you at that point. I don't know what to say to you. Anyway, bro, yes, God's not real. I'm with you. Hell yeah. W. Let's go. Actually, the Hebrew word means premarital sex. You are a liar. You are a liar. You're lying. You're lying. How do I know you're lying? It goes over in the quite literal context I just read, 15 fucking verses up, 15 verses worth of context, gives very clear delineation behind what's to happen with premarital sex and what's to happen with a man raping a woman. I gave the context. If you continue to lie in my chat, I will time you out, but I do not like liars. I would suggest you quite literally just scroll out of the stream. Right. Or if you're going to do what I think you're going to do, you're going to continue lying. And then so when you do get timed out, you can say, God, I defended you. Didn't let this guy, go on trying to say bad things about your book and read words for what they were. So you continue lying, I will time you out. Matter of fact, I might just hide you from the channel altogether. Just get you completely out of here. I do not like liars. Anyway. Yes, ultimately it was a responsibility thing. It's not about condoning rape, but actually to force the man to take care of the woman and the child he created. So just to make sure we're on the same page here, right? A woman who was still living with her father, because all women had to live with their fathers until they were married off. That's where we get the giving away by the father to the husband in modern marriages from. That's where the tradition comes from. You're telling me somebody's allowed to rape this woman while she lives with her father, and it's for her protection, that he doesn't get stoned for it or anything, but oh no, just give her father 50 shekels of silver and now she's your wife. Are we fucking joking? Like, how are we fucking joking? Ugh. 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 As an atheist, stop milking religious content. Don't tell me what to fucking do. Who do you think you are? It's my channel. You don't like it, scroll away. Any personal experience from moments where you saw use Christianity to lie or abuse others? For me, no. At least not as far as I can think. Right? Have I ever seen it being used to manipulate people? I guess directly. I don't have an example, but maybe. I don't know. I'll just say no and be graceful, right? As an anti-theist, keep milking it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna fill up the bucket for sure. You're not considering the alternative, which is keeping the kid with no man to support other than the father. So a father, right? So it's just to make sure we're on the same page. You think it was preferable that a rapist gets a wife for paying the modern equivalent of $14 to a father after he raped somebody instead of a woman and her I know abortion wasn't a thing. I'll even go so far as to say a woman and her bastard child, as they would have called it, being continued to being raised by the father and the rapist being stoned. Just to make sure we're on the same page. Just to make sure we're on the same page here. You think the first one of a woman being given automatically to her rapist for the modern equivalent of $14.50 is preferable to a guy not being stoned for raping somebody? You are a sick, disgusting person. I just want you to know that. Anyway, he still didn't explain the force behind the Big Bang. Even physicists won't do such a thing. They're past physical extremes at the point of the Big Bang. Our laws of physics break down. The lack of an answer doesn't constitute a god, though. Over 2,000 years and still no evidence for God's existence. Says the guy named God on YouTube. Love it. Milk the religious content and milk me neck. What the fuck? Ashek? How do you believe we have emotions and thoughts slash memories since you don't believe in a soul, basically? I believe we are conscious beings. Consciousness being an emergent property of our brain, being formed in the way it is and working and being, turned on, for lack of a better word, which would allow for things like complex thought and the ability to define emotions and things like that. What's the nomination of the best food in your experience when you were a Christian? I mean, we didn't really get fed at church unless they were like having an event of some sort. But um, there was this one woman in the last church I went to, an apostolic church. She made some damn good chicken. I'd say just off of her chicken recipe, I'd say the apostolics for sure. Anyway. Dog, you're asking people for argument against that, but you look at people with keyboards and a 20-second delay when you have a whole mic. What about me having a mic and having a stream constitutes a, matter of fact, super cool. Let me get you. I'm gonna hide you on the channel literally forever. I don't want you in my life. You're not somebody I want in my life. No. I don't want rape condoners and rape apologists in my life. Wait a fucking second. I just thought about it. I don't have to have you here. Get the fuck out of here. I'll see you in the next life, dude. If we reincarnate, I'll see you in the next life. If there's an afterlife, I'll see you there when we're getting judged. If there's nothing, I will see you lower because you are done. Skadoosh. Let's get a skadoosh for Mr. Super Cool in the chat. But yeah, you know to be here. No, we're not gonna try to insult me and go off on me because you want to be a rape apologist. No, fuck you. Go stub your toe. Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Res Parviz, I'm gonna get you out of here too. You've been here for like an hour. You haven't learned a single damn thing. I'm gonna get you can take the night off. Yeah, you have a good rest of your night. You can maybe come back tomorrow if you want to, but yeah, have a good rest of your night. Skadoosh. Get him out. Skadoosh. Never coming back. I'm just kidding, he'll come back tomorrow, but yeah. You think you're mudded? He might be mudded. So the people with severe Alzheimer's or in a vegetative state still have a soul? My grandfather would just sit non-responsive. I don't think anybody has souls personally, right?
Thanks for banning Super Cool 23. He was PMO.
Thank you for the $2 Canadian Fears. Appreciate you. Yeah, he had to go. He had to go. Some people just gotta go. If you were here for that one stream where I just like had that really big awful rant that some people gotta go. He was one of the people that had to go. Let's get a skadoosh for Mr. Super Cool in the chat. But yeah, skadoosh. But yeah, thank you again for the $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much. Do I think that people with Alzheimer's and a vegetative state have souls? I don't think anybody has a soul though. I don't think I have a soul, even with me being able to talk and feel emotions and do all the things now. I don't think people with Alzheimer's have souls, or people in vegetative state have souls. Anybody has a soul. Another cat on YouTube. I'm gonna get you on out of here. You can have a good rest of your night. But yeah, we're gonna spam retardation. No, we're not. No, we're not. You don't have to do that. I don't have to have you here. Wait a minute. Skadoosh. 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 Not coming back. What do you think about astral projection? I don't believe in astral projection. I don't believe in anything supernatural or spiritual that would be able to maneuver any sort of astral plane or any sort of invisible plane, at any point. So no. Do I like Jack Black? I liked Kung Fu Panda. Typically, I don't really like Jack Black though. The only two movies of his that I really liked were Tenacious D and Kung Fu Panda, but the other ones, he's not really my type of actor. High Inquisitor, we're not doing this Jungkook shit tonight, dude. Where? No, 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 not happening. Not happening. Never gonna happen. You're looking for the skadoosh button. I'm not gonna. The reason Canadian Ferris has the skadoosh email is because they're a member. I'll leave it at that. Thoughts on the reincarnation belief that you re-enter the same state you were in preconception, ethereal, memoryless, timeless. Some say you were the base elements, atoms, or something similar. Just don't believe in that personally. I don't believe in souls or anything, any sort of essence of us that is not endemic to our physical bodies, and so as a result, I wouldn't believe in such a thing being recycled in any sort of way whatsoever. I find your lack of faith disturbing. No. The dreams predict events to an extent, or is that just based on what you've seen? I think I've had maybe one dream that kind of predicted something that later happened, but most of my dreams are just like wild shit happening. Most recently, I had wait, no, I'm not going like an NSFW dream. Before that, the last one I can remember is like some weird shit happening. I feel like dreams are just a way for your brain to keep itself stimulated while your body sleeps. Do I like hot dogs? Yeah, I like hot dogs. Yeah. I had a dream about Reaper Leviathans from Subnautica, and you will have PTSD from that game. I've never played Subnautica. I wouldn't know.
Love your channel, funny but informative. I'm agnostic atheist. You seem pretty chill. Always glad when your channel shows up on my feed.
Oh, Chuck. Oh. Stuart Foxley Q, thank you so much for a $5 super chat. I appreciate the kind words. I don't know, just try my best, man. Put my best foot forward, and my best foot has a callus on it. But no, I sincerely appreciate the $5 super chat. I'll keep up being myself so long as I'm myself. What's your Twitch? Click the description. You should find a link to it there. Matter of fact, while I have y'all here, I'm gonna just promote all my shit. Why not? All my links should be in the description, if not, like in the link on my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch. Follow my TikTok and second TikTok, and X, Facebook, Instagram, Kick Trovo. I'm gonna stream on all of those. Literally everything I just named. Once I get my Streamlabs stuff back. Follow me on Clapper, Eliminate, Blue Sky Threads. Join my Discord if you're over 18. Add me on Snapchat if you're over 18. If you want to send text to speech, super chat, or you can tip $1 or more on my Streamlabs, or donate $1 or more to the Crisis text line. If you want to support the channel, all that stuff is down there too. But yeah, literally all my links should be in the description of this live stream. But Twitch is Unchained Skeptic. I'm Unchained Skeptic everywhere. There is a Twitch. Yeah, I'm on Twitch. I haven't streamed there in a while because I've been having issues with Streamlabs. But yeah. Did you believe other people are conscious, or do you believe in true randomness? If it's not due to randomness, what's your POV in your body and not someone else's? In your opinion, that requires an outside source. I'm going to reread that because I feel like I was kind of zoned out when I read it, to be fair. Do I believe other people are conscious? Yeah, I'm not a solipsist. Do you believe in true randomness? True randomness? It's impossible to know, right? If it's not due to randomness, why is it POV in your body and not someone else's? I feel like that's a question that would be asked no matter what my body was composed of and what it looked like, right? Like if I happen to not be some tall-ish mixed dude sitting in front of his microphone in a random house in Michigan, then I was instead like having this conversation as some like, I don't know, some random dude from Bhutan sitting in Thimphu, on a mountain, or like overlooking a mountain or some shit, having this conversation. Like the answer wouldn't be the exact same. So it's like, I don't think the fact that I am in my body and that I am the result of my particular body working the way it does proves that there was an outside source that needed me to be this way. Yeah, I can. Well, I mean, nobody can hear you, but I can see you. Tajan. Is that a Filipino name? Is that Filipino? Probably. I don't know. I see the Liam. I don't know. Missed my TikTok account. Got took out a 7K. Used to appear in lots of atheist lives. I might have seen you. What was your TikTok account name? Who made Earth? God made Earth. Life. Oh, you're just saying stuff. John 3:16. I'm not reading the rest of that. Matter of fact, seems like you're spamming, and I'm gonna get you on out of here. Wait. Time out. Wait. 24 hours. Wait. Oh my God, it's good news. Have a good rest of your night. Never coming back. What do you think about Calvinism? I don't talk to Calvinists. I feel like it's if we want to argue true predestination, if God's all powerful and made things as in the way that He chose to, then I mean that's cool. I feel like that's the most honest position, but then it doesn't leave way for a discussion that I feel like having. Given the power to do so, if you can make God real, would you? Would I make the Christian God real or the Abrahamic God real? No. I don't know. I'll probably make a God real that can actually change some things for the better, for sure. But then again, everybody thinks they can do that, right? If we don't have souls, do you think we might? We might as in what? Don't you think we might act in such a way that vegetation, bacteria, or cells live? I wouldn't say there's anything about us that makes our level of obviously consciousness and intelligence, sure, sentient, sure, but speaking organically, there's not really a huge objective difference between us and other species, so much so that we can determine whether or not we have souls based on us being different, if that makes sense. Like the fact that we are able to think complexly, have these discussions, and um, manipulate our environment in the way that we can doesn't constitute that we have souls just because carrots can't do so, right? Why rely on feelings? Secularism is all subjective. I mean, literally everything is subjective, right? It's as your entire view is going to be subjective no matter what. You could claim it's objective by tossing it up to some all-knowing God if you want to, but it still wouldn't change the fact that you're still defining the God in a subjective way. So I'm not seeing what the subjectivity of my convictions has to do with literally anything. This is a channel for discussion. Get the guy out of there. Bring in politics. Wait, who brought? I don't mind light political discussion, but typically I don't want to make this the whole thing about the channel. What's your viewpoint on why anything exists at all? I don't know, to be honest with you. I think things just are. I don't think there's a reason. Well, obviously not a cause, right? But like philosophically speaking, I don't feel like there's a reason for it. I think we're just here, and we're just here, and we're here. The same way that a God that is eternal and just decided to create this whenever he did or whenever it did for whatever reason would just exist and just be. If everything is subjective, why do you oppose Christianity? Because I don't see a reason to believe in it, right? Because it doesn't have any evidence behind it. Um, I don't know. I'm not seeing how the lack of a belief in a religion that has no evidence proving it to be true constitutes that one's philosophical convictions do come down to what they're subjectively convinced of. Lost in chat one sec. Pretty sure some guy in the with the word big in chat. It's about religion, not about talking about somebody else. Oh, so you're a deist? No, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God. Period. Oh, what do you think? God doesn't exist? I don't see any evidence for God existing, and there's also pretty convincing arguments that the universe has always existed. Have a good rest of your night. I miss the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye too, dude. If I wouldn't get the stream demonetized, then I definitely would play I Wonder on it, but yeah, man. If everything is random, then why are we symmetrical for the most part? I think our symmetry comes down to evolution and it being more advantageous physically for us to have redundant parts and also for us to have parts that would better allow us to be able to walk on land and things like that. I think it also ignores that there are asymmetrical species out there like coral, right? And it also ignores that you know, like plants, vegetation, for the most part, are completely asymmetrical. And even beside that, humans aren't entirely symmetrical. We just have redundant parts that are in relatively similar places on opposite parts of our body for um, every organ that we have two of, or at least two of, I should say. Do I believe in free will? Not really. No. In order to deny anything, you must first recognize the thing. If you want to argue that God being conceptually like a concept that I can recognize enough to figure out whether or not I think it exists, then sure. But if you want to argue that God's tangibly real because I acknowledge the idea enough to critique it, then that's just retarded. The same way I could say, oh, Superman exists as a fictional character and a concept. That I can call not real due to the laws of our reality, right? But it doesn't mean that just because I accept that Superman is a concept means that Superman is real because I had to acknowledge it in order to even talk about it. That would be dumb, right? James Verkines, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you, Paul. Welcome to the gang from being Christian and now atheist. Yay! Thanks for having me, Valentino. It's good to be here. It's just stupid how they say not to judge yet do it all the time. Yeah. To be fair though, most of them haven't even read their book. The fact that I've read the book twice is what makes me so confident that it's not true. Does free will in the Bible refer to scientific or legal free will? In the Bible, it doesn't really, like, there are contradictory accounts of free will. Like, the whole thing is about choice being made, but then there's also verses like, let me pull up a couple really quickly. Pull up my notes. There's some verses like, also really quickly, C.S. Davis, thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's verses like Psalms 139:16. If David's right about that, then that kind of goes against free will. There's like Ephesians 1:4. If Paul's right about that, that kind of goes against free will. Jeremiah 10:23. If that one's right, then that kind of goes against free will a little bit. So it's even the Bible's, the verdict's not up about it. I feel like the reason a lot of modern Christians argue free will so much is because like the whole religion would fall apart if there's not something that's not always our fault, right? Like if we're the ones that aren't ultimately making the evil or choosing the sin, then there's nothing to save us from. And if there's nothing to save us from, there's no reason to be a Christian. If God signed the walrus and seal, why do they have finger bones in their flippers? Because they're descended from land mammals. Yeah, exactly. I think they when you look at where our arms, or at least like our hands would be for most animals, like a lot of us have very similar very similar what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know, it's just formed similarly, like the few wrist bones and then the carpals and then the knuckles and then the tarsals. I think it's the tarsals. I'm forgetting my anatomy here. And then the phalanges at the end. I don't know. I might have got something wrong there, but what I'm getting at is that our makeup for what is the equivalent of a hand is pretty similar, showing that we definitely evolved. Is there such thing as a miracle? I think there's such thing as things that are possible being actualized despite their improbability. Like, but I wouldn't call it a miracle per se. Like, I feel like just because there's a one in, like, for instance, there's a 1 in 292 million chance of you winning the Powerball jackpot. But if somebody wins in a one ticket, I wouldn't call it a miracle. I'd say that's, I wouldn't say there's anything supernatural about it because it was still possible, right? If evolution is true, where did life come from? It formed over millions and millions of years using the process of abiogenesis, basically. The main problem is that something doesn't come from nothing. You don't think God came from nothing, did you? Because if you think he's always existed, I'm not seeing how that doesn't entail that I can easily just as much think that the universe has always existed. Personally, I believe most of the Bible is all parables and not literal. Parables have always been such a strong ways to teach, and Jesus used them often to have them in the Bible. It makes a lot of sense. I feel like once we get to the part of saying that there are, like, the Bible is a book of parables, at least even in the most part, without giving any sort of reliable or verifiable mode to figure out what's allegorical or metaphorical and what isn't and supposed to be literal, then I'm justified in saying that I have no reason to accept the Bible, right? Like, if we could argue that the flood didn't actually happen, but it's just some metaphor for something, some nebulous metaphor, then I can just as easily say Jesus didn't actually die and rise from the dead. That's just a metaphor for something, you know? 907 Hockey, I'm gonna hide you on the channel for coming in here lying. I don't know why you're doing that, bro. Skadoosh. You're weird, man. Oh wait, no, undo. Wrong person. Wrong person. Wrong person. Yeah, I'm gonna hide you on the channel. You're never coming back. Coming in saying a lie for no reason. It's just fucking weird. You gotta get out my chat. Like hello. I checked his Twitch. This is a rerun. I don't even think I have any of my VODs saved on Twitch. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. You are never coming back. No. Skadoosh. Skadoosh. Never ever coming back. If everything's parables, then why even believe in its messages? Exactly, right. Like, we would just want to say, like, the Bible's a book of a way that you should live your life. Sure, but I can find that out without the Bible, so why should I accept it? What do you believe? I don't believe in anything supernatural, divine, religious at all. Paranormal, spiritual, magical, anything like that, personally. God isn't affected by time, though, for him basically being a higher dimensional being. If God existed outside of what we know to be, I'm going to explain quickly how the concept of something being outside of time or quote unquote timeless is nonsensical for something that you expect to call existent. Let's say for a second, I'm going to do an internal critique real quick. Let's say God created the universe and he created time with the universe. It's baked into the universe itself. It's space and time. They're hand in hand. Okay, fair, right? Made these things together. Let's also say that seconds are a measurement of time. You can break it down as far as you want to Planck length, seconds, whatever measurement of time. It's a measurement of time. I'll go with seconds though. Um, Seconds are a measurement of time. Seconds did not exist before the universe was created because time didn't exist, right? So that would mean that whatever created the universe wasn't bound by seconds or this measurement of time because time wasn't a thing again, which would mean that God existed for 0 seconds before the universe started to exist. Now, why, if that's like, and that's a solid conclusion, right? If that's the case, why should I then say that God exists at all? You know, it's just a fancy way of saying God didn't exist. Something that exists for 0 seconds is something that definitionally does not exist. How does an atheist come up with a moral compass without a baseline of morality? You can use a non-religious baseline for your morality, right? I feel like if anybody didn't do that, then they would be in prison or should be in prison because, let's say I get my morals from the Bible, I would have to believe that things like rape are permissible thanks to Deuteronomy 22. I'd have to believe that infanticide is permissible so long as it's God commanding you to do so, like he did in 1 Samuel 15:3. I'd have to believe that the genocide that he did in Genesis 7 was a good thing. I would have to believe that slavery is permissible so long as it's the chosen people enslaving non-Israelites or non-chosen people, like he allowed and condoned in Leviticus and Exodus, and that even Paul and Peter condoned in the New Testament in Ephesians and First Peter. So, but to answer your question directly, empathy, social expectations, cultural expectations, your parental upbringing, your mental state, all these things are what form your morality, in addition to some other things. One does not get their morals from one particular God if we have different moral convictions. Why did I convert from agnosticism to Christianity if God isn't real? Because you found what I believe to be a bad argument convincing. Is it? Am I saying it's subjectively a bad argument and that you're lesser for believing it? No, I'm just saying that we were convinced by different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Chat's gone into chaos. What did I say? Well, you might be talking to somebody else. For the guy who mentioned the mentioned MUH, a mathematical universe hypothesis, doesn't explain why the math itself exists if the entire universe is made out of math. The universe isn't made out of math, right? The mathematical argument is just like some unsubstantiated Platonist hullabaloo. I don't think there's any sort of tangibility to numbers. I feel like these are just values and things that we ascribe to values or define with values that define the world around us. I'm not seeing how math is a prescriptive rule that is baked into everything tangibly within our universe physically rather than just a description of the way that we parse our universe. Please turn to Christ. No, thank you. Let's see here. Good question. Genuine question. What do you believe happens after death? I think you just cease to exist. I think that's just it for you. It's like before you were born. No consciousness, no nothing. It's not you floating in blackness or anything. It's just literal nothing. It's like the same way that you existed back in 1582. It's the same way you'll exist after you die. At least that's what I think. If all moments came to pass eternities ago, it is a privilege to partition ourselves into the moments time offers us in order to tell ourselves stories. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing that we're, as agents at least, able to experience, such a otherwise completely uncaring, hostile universe, right? Interesting. Why did my life improve after converting? I don't know, man. I don't know your life, right? Like, how am I supposed to answer that? Um, but considering that people's lives also get worse after joining Christianity, and also their lives get better after joining atheism, and also get worse. I say joining atheism. Their lives get better after not believing in the God anymore, and also get worse after not believing in God. Shows that people are just finding what works for them, and you know, trying to slot what convinces them into their life. So, I think it would be kind of silly if somebody were to claim that because your life improved because you accepted Christianity, that everybody's will, and that makes it true. I think that would be kind of absurd, right? Garcia Buckner, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you being here. Uh, what improved in your life after converting to atheism? I started thinking of people differently in a more empathetic way. Because, like, before I left, I was real, like, fire and brimstone in my beliefs. So I believed that my whole life was meant to just save people, not to value people, not to experience things with people, but just to save them and get them into heaven. I think of people differently now. I'm more empathetic, more able to put myself in somebody else's shoes, instead of just thinking this is just a temporary test until we get to eternal paradise or eternal torment or whatever. I get my Sundays back. There's not somebody watching me and judging me for all that I do. There's not any sort of disappointment with not getting the disappointing parts of my life improved after I pray for them. So, yeah, you can go. But yeah, that's how my life improved for sure. Another note: one day before the California wildfires, they mocked God, and then a huge fire happened to explain that. Um, if we're talking like eucalyptus trees, not fire resistant infrastructure, a lot of natural explanations for why the fire started. But even worse than that, you're basically admitting that the God you believe in is such a petty, narcissistic piece of shit that he ended, like, I think it was a low number of people, but ended people's lives, innocent people that had nothing to do with the quote unquote mocking, and also destroyed many people's livelihoods just because he got his feces hurt. Right. At that point, let's not even pay attention to the logic of it. Like, that's what you believe in. That's your God. Your God's so weak and so petty that he gets his feelings hurt. And then he's like, oh, let me just take people's houses from them. Are we fucking joking? Let me end people's lives in fire. Hello? Like, that's the God y'all believe in? This is the God y'all want me to believe in? Are we sure? Are we sure this is the God y'all want me to accept? What's the purpose of your life if there's no God? I feel like before I answer your question directly, let me predicate this with saying I think that the purpose for anybody's life is going to be subjective to them. It's up to you as the individual to figure out what purpose you ascribe to your life personally. With that being said, for me, the purpose I've ascribed to my life is to experience the things that I'm interested in experiencing. I want to ultimately get to a point in my life where I'm eating chicken adobo and drinking San Miguel on the streets not streets, probably in the streets, no, but on a beach in the Philippines somewhere. Experience the things I want to experience, and to help out the people in my life and make their lives easier for sure. But I don't think there's like an inherent objective purpose behind everybody's life. Also find it comical that God won't intercede and protect his other people from getting turned into mincemeat. Yeah, exactly. Right. We allow kids to get kidnapped and then killed and then turned into corpses for the drug trafficking. But oh, these people made a joke about me. I'm going to burn down innocent people's houses. Like, this is the God we care about. if this, even if that's the God y'all believe in, and y'all believe he's responsible for the fires in California, and somebody proved that he existed, I would go from not believing in a God. I would convert from being an atheist to being a God hater. I feel like that's a very valid thing to hate. You know, somebody who feels it necessary to fuck up people's livelihoods just because of their feelings getting hurt. Fuck that. I just want to be happy and content no matter my circumstances. There you go, right? That's a good denomination. Good question. What denomination were you a part of? I was in the Baptist church for 16 years and in the Apostolic church for 2 years. But before you try to say, oh, wrong denomination, wrong Christianity, you did it wrong, I've read the Bible, and that's what started things going south. And if the Bible is the inspired word of God, then that shouldn't have happened. You wouldn't exist if he didn't exist. No, I wouldn't exist if my parents didn't have sex, but there's nothing about my existence as a human that entails a God necessarily. Please demonstrate your God with irrefutable, verifiable evidence. I'm going to start putting a bounty on it at this point. Luca, you can go. You can go. Yeah, you can go. Yeah, you can go. You got my attention. It's the only attention you're going to get, but you can go. Skadoosh! Have a good rest of your night. Appreciate you. But yeah, you can go. Let's get a skadoosh for that guy. You were never Christian. You know that if you truly were. No, Fabio, please. I'm going to debate some random guy in YouTube chat for saying that I wasn't what I knew what I was, who hasn't known me for longer than a few minutes. Yeah. It's not like I've been living 29 years of my life or anything and know what I was. No, the random fuckhead in the YouTube chat knows me better than myself. Yeah, let me debate you about it. No. What are we thinking? Let's think about this. Does a building prove a builder? It sure does, but if you're going to prove that the universe is indeed a building, and then by all means, don't say it in chat. You know, don't use this argument in chat. Go present it to the Nobel Prize Committee and go get your Nobel Prize. Until then, it's a non sequitur to say that a universe that we can't verify its origin, is in some way logically analogous to a building that we know requires intervention in order to exist. But by all means, if you disagree, go get your Nobel Prize. Don't even tell me about it. Go get your money, man. Do you think that there were just infinite causes? I think time is tenseless, so I feel like a universe that has the physical ability to expand and contract would come with a lot of the ability for it to behave in a way where events happen during its expansions and contractions. But ultimately, I do think it's eternal for sure. Go to bed. It's 2 a.m. Get a life. I have a life. Got a job and everything. Come on. Who built God? Some random goat herders and a couple thousand years ago. What animal did I evolve from? Me and every other human evolved from Homo erectus, the Neanderthals, basically. Favorite God complex character? Probably Homelander. Like, if you mean character with a God complex, I'd say Homelander. I love the way Anthony Starr plays him in The Boys. That dude he's a beast. You know, when you can get people like genuinely hating you for your character, A, those people are dumb, but B, you're a terrific actor. If you mean like favorite, I don't know. That's probably not even what you meant though. You still seek and sorry that things happen. Oh, okay, never mind. You can go too. Yeah. Oh, you debunked my argument. Oh well, I'm sorry for the stuff that happened to you. Yeah, you can just go. You can bye bye. Skadoosh, skadoosh. Have a good rest of your life. But no, you're very erectus right now. What? Ew. Pigs. Uh, so apparently humans made the universe. No, I don't think humans made the universe. I think that humans are part of the universe. But no, I don't know about anything. I don't know anything I said that even implies such a thing. I think you're just kind of pulling that out of nowhere at this point. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Salted caramel is first. Say maybe cookie dough is second, and then third probably. This is a hot take. Probably like mint chocolate chip for sure. Let's see here. When you see a phone, you know, think, couple atoms just stuck together, and now this. Now you know someone made it. So how about the stars in the universe? We know it began. So that's called both a composition fallacy and all. Well, you didn't say the universe, so I can't technically say composition fallacy, but that's a false equivalence fallacy. So the difference between a phone and the star. Well, you did say universe. Yeah, false equivalence and composition. I'll go over both. So the reason that's a false equivalence fallacy is because we can observe a nature where smartphones don't naturally appear. We also can verify through history that humans are the direct cause behind smartphones existing. Therefore, we can safely conclude if we see a smartphone that a human in some way made this or was responsible for it. Now, conversely, science, the physicists, the people with actual educations, the people who have PhDs in the field and don't just talk out of their ass in YouTube comments, they don't know whether or not the universe ever went from a state of not existing to existing. All they know is that 14 billion years ago, the universe expanded from a very small point, a very small, hot, dense point. That's all they know for certain. So, to say that there is some sort of logical equivalence between something that we know requires human intervention behind something that we don't know requires intentional intervention is it's not analogous. And also, it's composition fallacy because you're assuming that there are things within the universe that act in a certain way that the universe itself has to act in that way too. It will be like if I said that an entire car was made out of rubber just because its tires were. It's just not how it works. Conversely, it'd be like if I said an entire universe was created just because things within it were created. Again, doesn't work. So no, it's a logically fallacious argument. We should probably stop getting our arguments from Cliff Nechtel. And also, if we want to say definitely that God exists by way of this argument, then present it to the Nobel Prize community. Android or iPhone? I prefer Android for sure. Cats or dogs? Overall dogs, but I love them both. I'm huge on animals. Period. If I don't desire to have a big house or anything. You know, like, I don't even know if I want a wife and kids in the future, but I do know that, you know, if I just had my shit to myself, I only need like maybe one or two bedrooms, like maybe one for me to sleep in, another for storage or something like that, or somebody to sleep over if they were needing a crash or whatever. But kind of the reason I want kind of a bigger house is just so I can have a bunch of animals. You're introducing an infinite okay, let me get you out of here. Aladeep Chakraborty. You can go. Have a good rest of your night. But yeah, bye. Bye. Take care. Skadoosh. Introducing an infinite regress fallacy with that argument about the universe. So the infinite regress fallacy assumes that time is tensed, right? That, you know, the past is tangible and the future is tangible. For me, chronologically, I don't have a reason to think that the past exists or that the future exists, and that these aren't just words that we ascribe to events in the universe that have happened already. For me, if the present is all that chronologically exists, then it can extend infinitely in both directions. Like think of, I don't know, hold a pencil in your hand, and I think if that pencil went the part with the eraser went infinitely in one direction, and the part with the graphite went infinitely in the other direction. That's how I think of time in the universe. I don't think of time having a defiant start, like, you know, it didn't start from the eraser and then shoot out from the other end with the eraser not shooting out. So it's also kind of a little bit backed up. There's a little bit of meat to chew on when you think about how space-time is intertwined, and so the expansion of space would require the expansion of time potentially backward. So sure, but yeah, it's not really a fallacious thought when you accept the B theory. What did they teach in the churches? In the churches, please take a deep breath. You sound a bit exhausted. I'm not exhausted. I'm just a little bit tipsy. Um, I don't know. It's too broad of a question. I'll be honest. Pointless chat. All right, I'll get you on out of here then. Oh wait, no, you come in here every night. No, Hyatt user on channel. You will never come back. Skadoosh, 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 skadoosh. Never, ever, 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 ever come back. You will never come back. No, it's not happening. It's much easier to deny specific religions than to deny any possibility of a deity. What is your precise definition of a god in order to better understand what exactly is being claimed that doesn't exist? Something with a mind, or at the very least with some sort of conscious intent that is responsible for the existence of the universe from a previous state of the universe itself not existing. That's what I define a god to be. Would I rather fight a xenomorph or a predator? In order, I would rather fight like a regular xenomorph. I'd prefer to fight that over a predator, and I would prefer to fight a predator over a xenomorph queen, if that makes sense. You can go to. We're not doing the spam shit tonight, dude. It's just not happening. It won't be me. I'm sorry. Skadoosh. Have a good rest of your night, but no, we're not doing that, man. Can I skadoosh you? Only because you asked nicely. How much time do you want off? I think it's fun to mess with Christians because I'm like here fucking around and they're all being serious. Um, it can be fun. It can be fun. For me, I try not to fuck with them too much. I try to be a little serious with it, but yeah. Skadoosh, skadoosh. What's with banning people so casually? I have one rule: it's don't spam. Well, one hard rule is don't spam. If somebody spams, they broke the one rule, so this isn't the chat for them. That's why I ban people so easily, because if they break my rule, they're not in my stream. Like, if you invite people over for dinner and you say, just don't bring your dogs inside the house, and somebody comes in with their dog, you're freely allowed to kick that person out of your house, right? Do you watch cringe? I'm guessing, did I watch cringy Christian YouTubers before I become an atheist? No, no, no. A lot of my YouTube activities before I became an atheist were other cringy things besides religious content. It was like um, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, all ultimate moves, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Have you watched a new story called Prey? It's like Native Americans versus a primitive predator. Was super neat. I think they had a kill count for it. I think it had a kill count for it, but I think I saw that. I didn't see the actual movie though. Dino is gone. Yes, good news. Dino will be never coming back to this stream. Hate to see it, but yeah, there we go. One thing we all have in common is dead, and you don't want to die and find out there is a God and you've sinned against them. No, I'm just hinging my bets on the God that cares about people, that's more offended at people believing in a false God than not believing in a God at all. Um, that's going to be my response to everybody trying to use Pascal's wager at me. But yeah, no, if that God exists and that God is petty, then I don't want to spend eternity with somebody petty anyway. So I'm not going to worship such a thing. An atheist and no formula, logic, and scientific, but I use Christian values and aspects for my psychological reinforcement, but I still question everything, refuse indoctrination. What's your take? If that works for you, it works for you. Absolutely. I'm not judging cultural Christianity at all. I kind of get the appeal of it. I'll be honest with you. Not enough for me to culturally give in to Christian norms, but enough to get where people are coming from, right? Like sometimes I listen to Christian rock music. I'm like, oh yeah, this song slaps. Like anybody listen to Red in here? Red, old Skillet, new Skillet's really cringe now, and Fireflight. Those are my three. But beside the point, yeah, I get it. So yeah, I don't judge you at all for it. I could even if you ascribe to Christianity beyond just the cultural aspects of it, I still wouldn't judge you for it necessarily. See here, good point, but time is a scalar quantity from what I understood. Time has to have started at some point. It cannot be negative. I feel like when we talk about start of time, then we have to assume that what happened before time didn't at all move whatsoever. Because in order for anything, for there to be an event that has a passage, there has to be time. So the act of the universe starting to exist, assuming that it did, would require that time was an aspect of whatever existed before the universe. So I personally disagree with that. Do you think religion is harmless either in theory or in practice? In theory it can be, and there are some more or less harmless religions out there, but in practice, the religions that are going to spread the most are the ones that are going to most incentivize and encourage being spread around, which is obviously what happened with the two most popular religions in the world. So in theory, I would have no issue with it. And I would even go so far as to say that if it was indeed harmless, I would never talk about it and I wouldn't even have this channel. But the fact that people want to use their religion to do not harmless things means that I feel the need to talk about it. But yeah. Have a good rest of your night, Mr. Gecko. Appreciate you being here, as always. Do I like the new Linkin Park? Yeah, I like them. Not as much as the old, obviously, but I don't think they're bad at all. I think she's got a real power to her voice. I kind of enjoy it. Kind of reminds me of what's that band? Ginger. Ginger. I think it's like with J's though, not G's. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Do I believe in simulation theory of existence? No, not personally. I don't. I don't see anything necessarily like explanatorily wrong with it, but there's just not enough meat on those bones for me to chew on. If that, if you get me. Have a fear of being made a false prophet of a false god. Yeah, there we go. Right. But yeah, anytime somebody says like, "Oh, you're just risking being wrong," like, no, I'm not risking being wrong. I'm most convinced that the God that does exist would reward atheists and punish believers in the wrong God. So, that's gonna be my take. Ginger. Or there might only be one J that looks kind of wrong, but no matter what, if you search it, you'll find them. Thoughts on Switch to Eula? I'm not sure what Eula is. I'm not big on Nintendo. I feel like their consoles don't allow enough games, but it looks nice. I'll give it that. Yeah, and I do like Nintendo games generally, but yeah, looks cool. Would I get one? Only if I had like way too much money to throw around. Like if I had an extra, I don't know, $100,000 flying around, I'd probably get one. But yeah, I'm not gonna get one personally. Preston, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you being here. Why care if you're secular since according to atheism, everything is opinions? Oh, thank you for asking that question. Why do I care? So in my country, at least, I don't know which country you're from. I'd imagine if I'm guessing right from your name, that 70% of your country is Roman Catholic, but over here, 62% of the country I'm in is Christian. And these Christians are using their religion to put in legislation that harms people who aren't heterosexual, people who aren't cisgendered, and also people who don't believe in God. Well, maybe less so for the not believe in God with legislation, but definitely a lot of disrespect with, in a general zeitgeist. I mean, look at the chat just as an example. It's leading to some science denial. People are quite literally letting their kids die from measles because they have like some weird anti-vax Christian beliefs. People are allowing babies to gestate instead of brain dead women because of abortion being outlawed due to Christian beliefs. And so it's not just a story, right? If it was just a story a thing that people believed in, they said the holy, holy joy, joy, and that was it. That would be cool. But it's unfortunately something that's leading to some really atrocious and awful things in the real world. And so I feel like that needs to be talked about. Do you think religion has a place in politics? I think optimally it shouldn't. I think it unfortunately does, but I would hope in a better future it wouldn't. Usually I'm keen on Nintendo, but it's an L with the Switch too. It looks fine. What's wrong with it? I was once a very active minister in my church, but I started to see how hypocritical the church leaders are, so my faith started to die down. That's a good reason. Don't let anybody tell you it's not a good reason that that you not having necessarily, I won't call it illogical, but not breaking it down with science and theology and all this other stuff constitutes you not having a valid reason to leave. Don't let anybody take that from you, because they will try to. They have for me for the past 10 years, and they'll continue to try to. God is also vengeful because of the wickedness that happened in those times, because there was no grace for the people until Jesus came. Even after Jesus came, people are using God as a justification for awful shit. So to say that it all stopped with Jesus is objectively false. And then to say that God has to be beholden to to human ideas and beholden to human customs when he's all powerful is also pretty, with all due respect, a pretty dumb thing to say. Hope one day you realize how ridiculous you sound. I don't think it's very ridiculous to say that a book with talking animals is fiction, right? Like, I'm not the one that believes in it. You're the one that believes in it. So just if we want to call we want to call it more ridiculous to say that snakes can't talk, therefore the book with a talking snake, at least this part of it is false, then I mean I'll gladly be ridiculous. I think religion are based on emotion and feelings for real. Yeah, emotion. Yeah, primarily emotion and like discontent with a lack of answers to questions. A lot of different things for sure. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that in and of itself, but we can see kind of the issues that allows. You should do a Bible reading stream. I feel like if I get to, I might do a Bible reading stream like front to back, cover to cover. If I get like, I don't know how many thousand subscribers. I feel like that'll be really funny. Why do you exactly think God's existence isn't not probably possible? If it were to be possible, what parameters would you think would have to be met according to you? I'm agnostic about it, so I don't think it's entirely impossible that a God exists. Like a God is the cause for the universe existing, sure. Um, but to show that to be the case, we would have to show what an uncreated universe would look like or how it would behave, and use some aspect about our universe to properly determine that our universe, that the fact that our universe features this thing is cause to believe that it was created. That's probably a big word salad, and I'm going to rephrase that if you don't mind. Um, Show what an uncreated universe looks like. Show what feature about our universe means that it had to have been created, and then that'll be a good enough reason for me to believe. Obviously, I think even better than that would be for God Himself to come down and say, "Hey, here I am." If He wanted people to believe in it, or it wanted people to believe in it, um, just some sort of logical argument, something that shows that a God is the cause for everything, and it can't possibly be another way. Why don't you separate Christianity from Christ and choose Christ over Christianity? Because my issues with Christianity and why I left came 0% down to everything else besides Christ, quote unquote, and all to do with the fact that I stopped believing that Christ, quote unquote, rose from the dead. So that's why I left. Not because Christians were being mean to me or anything like that. It's not like, oh man, I don't want to be in a church anymore, but I'm going to continue believing that God rose from the dead. Like, no, I just stopped believing that the story was true. Jesus is your crazy ex-girlfriend. Oh man, I got stories, dude. I'm not even gonna go over them, but yeah, I got stories. What are your favorite non-canonical books of the Bible? I haven't read any of them yet, but I will read them eventually. They're on my list. So I can't comment on it. I could just say which one I'm most familiar with or heard the most about, which would obviously be the Book of Enoch, right? I'll go so far as to say the man with his prideful flesh added to God's word too, for their own belief, their own intent. What? These are words for sure. I'm going to read this word for word just to show how it doesn't make sense. I will go as far to say that man with his prideful flesh it does make sense. I'm the stupid one. I apologize. Say that man with his prideful flesh added to God's word tube. Okay, that doesn't make sense. For their own belief, their own interpretation, what is still God. Okay, the last part didn't make sense. I take back my apology. You mind rephrasing that? Jesus is a prophet at best. Hope you know what Arianism and the Nicene Creed is, because claiming him as God is foolish. Take it up with the Christians, man. Don't take it up with me. Would you save yourself or others if you had the choice? Like, I mean, depends, right? Depends on like, I don't know, like, what's the best? Just give me an example. I'll give you an answer for it. It's easy to build a faith on feelings rather than transformation. It's easy to build a faith on feelings rather than transform. I mean, sure, yeah, why not? They don't believe Jesus' revival because it didn't happen in front of you. Not even because it didn't happen in front of me, but because like it's the most. The Romans were world renowned for their record keeping, and B, it's supposed to be the most important event. I mean, maybe in retrospect, so you could argue that I'm being short-sighted when I say this, but I'll say it anyway because why not? It's supposed to be the most important event that's ever happened in human history, right? And yet there is no contemporary firsthand accounts of it. Just what we can basically boil down to hearsay. People that were historians at the time, for some odd reason, didn't write about this really, really supernatural thing happening. added by later, added by later people, admittedly added by later people, accounted for decades after by four anonymous people with contradictory accounts of it. So it's not the fact that it didn't happen in front of me. I've only been alive for 29 years, but the fact that there's no contemporary, firsthand, reliable enough evidence for me to say that it definitely happened that allows me to say, okay, well, people don't rise from the dead, and there's no good meat to chew on with this claim that someone did. So I have good reason to call it false, right? What do you think of Descartes' ontological argument? I haven't heard of which one is Descartes. Is it the no? This Anselmian. Is it the modal? Which ontological argument is his? If it doesn't exist, why is it still in the country? I'll answer these piece by piece. I've read this before before I said it. Why is it still in the country? What was the most persecuted religion? Wouldn't we have kept record of that particular religion? I'll answer this piece by piece. Why is it still in the country? Because when you say the country, I'll assume you mean my country. Because Christians came over to this country and drove out the natives, drove them off of their lands, put them onto reservations, and killed and beat and forcibly indoctrinated them into this religion, which allowed them to pass it down, allowed the people who came over to pass it down to their kids, and also allowed the people of enslaved populations that they brought over later on to pass it down to their kids. So that's why it's so big in my country, at least. I can't find your question. Well, oh, yeah, there it is. What was the most persecuted religion? I don't know how to even answer that or measure such a thing. Um, yeah, like how am I supposed to measure like the level of persecution that different religions had? The only I'm guessing thing that you should believe in God because you have nothing to lose. What if the God that actually exists would value me being an atheist and not value and even punish me for being in a false religion? I'll be cooked, you know? So, no, we can't just say there's nothing to lose because I claim that there's good things if you come to my religion and bad things if you don't. Like, you could use that for anything, right? Imagine if I were to say, I have it on good authority right now from God that if you don't send me $1,000 right this second, you will burn in hell. You would technically be risking burning in hell by not sending me $1,000, but is that a good reason for you to then just send me $1,000 because of some claim that can't be verified and that very clearly sounds like bullshit? No, of course not. You not seek God enough. You're only saying that because you don't find my belief satisfactory. The most persecuted religion no longer exists because it was exterminated. Well, there you go, right? Stay eating them up. I'm gonna drink them up really quickly. Yeah, let me take a sip. Fuck this. 1 second. Oh, oh man, I'm gonna take another. Fuck it. Oh man. Thank you, Jesus, for turning water into what I have in my bottle right now. Let me stop. Uh, it's got their first class tickets to hell. I pre-ordered. I want to be in business class for sure. To be fair, we can talk about this all day, but I gotta go. No, I appreciate you being here, Couch Potato. Have a good rest of your night. Tacitus and a few other Roman historians wrote about them as enemies. The Israeli Pharisees wrote about them. These accounts don't conflict. If you think they do, why is that? I've read the annals. I've read the epistolae from Pliny, and I've also read the Testimonium Flavianum part in detail from Josephus, and zero of them reference Jesus as being somebody that was met. And I'm not going to even be obtuse here and claim like, oh, they had to have met him in order for it to be true. Like they have to traverse everywhere to for these things to be true. I'm not going to be that obtuse. I'll even take a step back because my point still stands. They didn't write about there being a sufficient number of people that actively believed that this guy had risen from the dead and that in a way that could be verified, right? I forget which one it is. I think it was Tacitus's father or maybe Josephus's. I can't remember, but one of them was a historian and they would have been alive when Jesus was alive and they didn't write about him either. But even if I were to accept that Jesus existed, the fact that none of them wrote about his resurrection shows that, there's Um, that at the very least that I have at least justified in having the hunch that it didn't happen. You can maybe argue that the because it's in the TF slightly maybe, but even then, every scholar for the most part will tell you that that was added by later Christians. Do Satanists get better spots in hell? Hopefully, get a little air conditioning at least, right? How do you think the universe is created? I think the universe itself has always existed in some form, like the stuff in the universe, the matter or what's condensed or formed into what we now know is matter, and the space that it takes up has always been a thing, always been a feature of the universe. Never answered anything I said and continuously denied stuff based on your religion, so I can't really. Are you talking to me or somebody else? Read the Bible? I've read the Bible twice, two times. I've read the Bible more than I can promise you the average Christian in this chat has read the Bible. Let's see here. You are on your own deeds. If you mislead others, you will bear their sin of what you cause. Oh, I'm so scared. Let me not have a discussion because your religion claims that there will be a punishment for me having a discussion. Also, Kitty, I'm gonna do something really quick. I'm gonna no, fuck your other question. I'm gonna put you on blast really quickly. Do you believe in free will? Do you believe God gave us free will? And if the answer is yes, then why are you trying to low key veil threaten me for me having this discussion and not people for using their free will to stay in the stream and have the discussion with me? I will not answer you until you answer that question. If God is real, then why does he teaches followers how to read and write? Right. I kind of bring it up with one thing that would have convinced me about the Bible is that if God was writing about shit that we know scientifically or was inspiring a story about shit that we know scientifically in the Bible, then that would have been super convincing. Imagine if God said the universe was created 14 billion years ago. I created it 14 billion years ago, and I expanded it from a hot, dense state, and matter cooled, formed galaxies. Those galaxies formed stars, and stars formed planets. Like, that would be huge, right? That would be pretty fucking huge. But yeah. The matter always existing in our universe is an iffy proposition. I mean, iffy as it is, I don't see a scientifically consistent reason for me to necessarily think that it's wrong. Do I believe in the Big Bang? I acknowledge that the Big Bang happened. There is far more than enough evidence for it. There's cosmic background microwave radiation showing that the universe is expanding, and there's redshift showing how long it's been expanding and how fast it's expanding. The steady state universe of Fred Hoyle was jettisoned a long time ago. Who's to say that I got that directly from Fred Hoyle, right? Like, there's also the cyclical models, like I think it's, I know Turok, I forget the other person. Their cyclical model, the other cyclical models. Quantum fluctuations hasn't been died out yet. And even most importantly, even if all of these, and I mean literally every single eternal universe hypothesis was done away with, debunked, shown to be bullshit, that would still not necessarily necessitate that a God exists. So, we can keep doing the internal critique all we want. I'm not knocking you for doing so. This is a discussion after all, but if the conclusion isn't a God is the only explanation left, then it doesn't really get us very far. Do you believe that everything must come from something / somewhere? Everything except the universal manifold that contains all things itself? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, to be fair, if the exact age was in the Bible, people would be way too focused on the age of the universe in the Bible. I'm not seeing why that would be a bad thing. Like, it would convince a lot of people, right? If Bible says thing that could not have possibly scientifically been, like, they didn't know about CBMR or redshift back then. So it's like, if the Bible said something that couldn't have possibly been known, and he inspired his quote unquote prophets to write the thing, and it's something that we were later able to verify was true, man, tell me people wouldn't immediately come to Christ. I would have found that really effective if I was a God, but I don't know what to tell you. called the KJV for a reason. He ordered the Apocrypha removed from the official Bible as it contradicts the agenda of the church. Yeah, that's why I always recommend people read the NRSV because it's one of the more how should I say this, theologically neutral translations for sure. So I don't know. How can I say there is a God with no proof? Yeah, good question, right? Arguing with churches like going outside with a fly swatter. Damn, dude. I mean, damn, dude. That's hell yeah. I kind of agree actually. I think you're disappointed by God if you give him one more chance to Jesus. What would it be? If you give him one more chance, what even is this question, Joseph? If you give him one more chance to Jesus, I'm guessing if you give one more chance to Jesus, what would it be? Like, what would my chance be? Is that our question? What do you mean by that? Curious, if I go out and commit a horrible crime in the name of God, how would that be perceived? You should be locked up. You should be locked up, man. The Bible prophesied cards. It says the disciples were all in one accord. Oh gosh, you know what? 1 second, give me a minute. Give me a minute. No, wait a second. I gotta play this after hearing that one. There we go. That's all I needed to do. I feel like John Wick and these Christians killed my dog. Damn. Just don't go on a one-man warpath against them. I don't even know what the fuck Jeff is saying. Okay, Michael's just preaching. Let's see here. Is there even one good question? Why do I keep milking this topic? So I host these streams that make these videos to offer a look into an atheist and ex-Christian perspective, to encourage critical thinking, to learn new things, to provide an opportunity to engage fairly and honestly with someone with a different worldview, and have a little bit of fun along the way. That's why I have these streams. Are you familiar with Rocco's Basilisk? It feels eerily similar to Pascal's Wager. Yeah, it's just some information hazard shit. It was, I don't know if you watch Black Mirror, but in the episode Plaything, it was kind of lightly touched on a little bit. Yeah, it's just classic, you know, the game. Sorry for reminding you all about the game. You all just lost, but it's just like the game or anything that claims that the access to the information itself now puts you in danger. And so yeah, yeah, it's I think Pascal was ahead of his time with it. Unless you're suggesting that evil is outside of God's power and therefore he isn't. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Whatever you're saying, you're cooking. Sure. Do I wish there was a God? I think it would be more optimal if there was a being that could tangibly help us with the issues that we're having on Earth. Yeah, I would say so. But overall, like, do I wish there was a being that seems to be as narcissistic and petty as the gods that are typically presented are? No, of course not. Do I like the distillers? I'm not sure what this is. See, Jesus Barabbas was a warlock. Are you talking about the guy that was crucified next to him? Atheism cannot answer why teachings of Christ became successful. Oh, sure I can. They colonized the fucking planet. That's how I can answer it. The people that believed the thing colonized the entire rest of the planet. They divided Africa like it was a fucking pizza. They divided Oceania, and they divided the well, not the U.S., but the Americas. You know, they came over, conquested, colonized, destroyed, and forcibly indoctrinated people. So, duh, it kind of led to people spreading this belief that they were forcibly indoctrinated to their children. Like, no shit. As somebody who was half black and a quarter Native American, I probably don't know if we want to go the route of saying that, oh, you can't account for why this religion so happened to have blown up the way that it did. It's like, I trust me, I've heard stories. I can tell you, I know exactly why. Also, it still doesn't negate the fact that God created evil, the lack of it. If he explicitly says in the Bible that he created evil in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. Somebody could argue calamity, but I mean, the general idea behind the verse is that he created the force of bad. Christianity spread with peace until Rome. My people were also forced Christianity. Um, yeah, I mean, with the collapse of the Roman Empire, it should have stayed there, right? Do you think religion has held back humanity? And yeah, I think it has ultimately, in some regards at least. When we have people, burning women for doing things that people couldn't scientifically understand or killing scientists, then yeah, I would say that's a pretty big holdback for sure. You do realize that according to the Gospels, the Roman guards were bribed by various Pharisees so that word about Jesus' arrival wouldn't get out. I mean, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Self prophesying things within the Bible, like some trapdoors set up within the Bible, like the idea of a great falling away, proving the end times in Second Thessalonians. There's a lot of things within this. Basically, Bible says thing that proves that Bible had to have spread good way, and it's obviously true. It's like I'm not considering that miraculous. Icarus is lightly spamming. I do see. How bad is it though? It's not the worst ever. It's not the worst ever. Yeah, it's not the worst ever. I'll allow it. At least he's taking like at least appears to be at least 30 seconds or a minute between. So I can. That's fine. It's all right. Uh, before follow up example. Oh yeah, what is it? You are correct. I did indeed ask for it. What did you say? Whatever you're saying appears to have been filtered for some odd reason. I don't know why it got filtered, but I don't know. Religion's not the move, self spiritualism is, and part of that is realizing God is not any grand external power. Its existence is self consciousness viewing and creating reality as above, so below. I would be a pantheist if I felt that the need to if I felt the need to classify existence itself as God. I just don't see that need, so I can't call myself a pantheist, but I'm kind of right there with you. I think that we are just the universe experience in itself. The sheer size of a boat to save two of everything would be tremendous. The boat would be the only thing left. All critters would have died out from the inbreeding. Yeah, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but two of each animal, even within individual subspecies, would not have been enough genetic information for these animals to continue. And the same would have been true of 8 human beings being left over. Also, we shouldn't have had vegetation either. If we shouldn't have vegetation if that much water poured onto the earth, compression would have caused way too much heat, would have burned out all of the planet's surface. And there's also the fact that if the world was flooded with all fresh water, then all the saltwater species should have died out. And if it was flooded with all salt water, then all freshwater species should have died out. So, yeah. Who killed scientists? There were some Christians that killed scientists. And if we want to lie about that, then, I mean, at that point, we go from polite disagreement to, somebody not accepting literal written history. From somebody who's trying to argue via written history. So God was only concerned with land dwelling creatures, apparently, right? Shows the sacrifice for humanity in the Bible, which is opposite of pride itself. Oh, I don't know what you want me to do with that. Tommy Chong played Black Sabbath at 78 speed and saw God. That's good for him, I guess. I don't know what you want me to do with that. No one over the age of 8 should still believe in magic. What is religion if not a magical belief? Yeah, I do think that religions in general would die out if they were preached to people when they turn like, I don't know. I think I would go so far as to say over the age of 14. That's probably something that people aren't gonna believe too much, and the people that do are gonna be looked at kind of weird. I've had so many like Thomist Christians like, oh, I love Aquinas, man. Aquinas is so cool. I'll have him as my profile picture and make my whole online identity about them. And they're fucking teenagers. They would be looked at as weirdos if we were teaching religion to people past the point of 14. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think that's the word rapist that was getting you. Okay, you have no other option. Minus one person. One is a rapist. One is a literal saint. Saved your mom. One is you. No loopholes. Can I only save one of them? Um, I'd save the saint. Yeah, I'd save the guy that saved my mom. I don't like my mom too much, but I mean, he's at least his heart was in the right place, right? Uh, I don't want to ask you anything you can't make me. Goddamn it! I'm sorry. I don't know about why that made. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. I don't want to ask you anything you can't make me. God damn it! Like, damn, dude. Okay, chill. Okay, fair enough, man. God damn. Oh, jeez, where all that water go? I don't know, dude. It's just I couldn't tell you where all the water went. It there was no water. I don't know why people still believe in that story. Here Christianity is just taught in school, and next day they'll teach Norse mythology. Very few religious people. Oh yeah. I wish we had like a what is it, like comparative religions class, but I went to public school, so I mean we barely had lunch, right? Oh, you have to off one person, not save one person. Oh, so two people live. Wait, two people live? Like a rapist? Me and another good guy? Like I'd kill the rapist, right? What I was trying to say, that early Christianity was successful without persecution, had no political support for 300 years. So did the many, many regional beliefs around the planet. So um, if you want to argue why did a regional belief success was it why was it successful in the region before they went colonizing the planet, I'd say the same about literally any other regional religion, about like Chinese mythology, Shinto, all the different sets of paganism in like Rome and Greece and Egypt, animism over with the natives, the Native Americans, I mean the Canadians too, obviously, right? Yeah, the Mexican pantheon. Yeah, there's a lot of different like regional beliefs that were kicking and alive and well before the Christians or Muslims came over and completely wrecked their shit. So I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to take from that. Believing Jesus lived, died, and rose again according to prophecies confirmed by eyewitness. It was not confirmed by eyewitnesses. If you have some evidence though for it, by all means present it to somebody like not a religious body, a scientific body, and give your evidence. It's confirmed apparently, and change literally everyone's life. Put them in a position to either have them accept God or deny God, like fulfill the prophecy. But no, there's not even an agreement within religious scholars about whether or not Jesus definitely, like there's good evidence for Jesus' existence, whether or not they're theistic. Christianity is from the writings of past prophets imbued through the Holy Spirit. I mean, that's just that's a claim. I don't know what you want me to do with it. If everyone believed in Jainism, the world would be a much better place. I don't know too much about Jainism. Jesus can also canonically have a KD of 100. Does he have a KD of 100? Who would I mean, right? What's the scientific body to prove Hitler? Are you sure you want to go with somebody who didn't literally die? What was it, like 80 years ago? Are we sure we want to? Like, I want to help. I want to try to help your argument here. Are we sure you don't want to go with somebody who's not so contemporary, who has been dead for less than a century? Are we fucking joking? Like, surely, right? But even beside the point, no, no, never mind. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait before I get to my second point. It's a good point. It's a fantastic point, and I'm kind of itching to bring it out. But no, I want to help your argument here. Are you sure you don't want to go with somebody to? It'll lead into it anyway. But fuck it, I'll still wait for you. Let's go with somebody who hasn't been dead for only 80 years, right? Atheism requires faith just like theism. I'm not going to read literally anything else that you say after that, Icarus. If we, because like, I'm not going to sit here and debate. Here's the three things I don't debate with people, right? If we say these things, I know that we're just trying to say things to be inflammatory and aren't trying to be productive. Atheism requires faith, and not just because these are antagonistic, but because I'll get to it in a second. But atheism requires faith. I was never a true Christian, and that atheism is a religion. Because whether or not I can contend with whether or not these things are true or not, where was I supposed to go with? Oh, okay. Well, I have faith too. Now, God is real. I guess. Like, surely that can't be our argumentation, right? Surely that can't be our argumentation, right? All right, Icarus, you can go for the night. Yeah, we're just yeah. We matter of fact, yeah, we could just go. We just get you on out here. You survived for a long time. You probably broke the record for guy who was like on on the balance of trying to actively deny history, not just doing a simple Google search, and trying to be just lightly disingenuous. Like you were teetering for a while, but that kind of just set me over the edge. Yeah, you can go. Have a good rest of your night. Good douche. It's good douche. I'm gonna miss you though. I'm gonna miss you, but yeah, we're if we're past the point of doing Google searches and now we're trying to sandbag to atheism requires faith, when I mean, I'm not even gonna get to whether or not it's the point, but B, when it's an irrelevant point to bring up. I mean, we're past the point of yeah, he just it flew a little bit too close to the sun. He was all he had to do was just stay in the lower atmosphere. He's just like, okay, let me just flap my wings a little bit harder, go just a little higher up, and now the wax melted. I'm so sorry, dude, but good douche, man. I'll miss you. You can come back tomorrow though. Do you hate all Abrahamic religions, and are you really atheist and not agnostic? Hatred's a strong word. I don't respect the stories themselves. I've read. I mean, if you've read the Old and New Testament, you've read the Torah and the Bible. And in addition to that, I've read the Quran. I think that the stories themselves are awful. They're pretty repugnant when you really think about it, and that their followers aren't all bad people, obviously, but that the thing that they believe in, that they believe is true, is allows them to feel justified in doing some awful things. That being said, I feel like hate's too strong of a word for it. And to answer your second question, am I like truly atheist or am I agnostic? I'm both. One's a claim on your belief, the other's a claim on your knowledge. So they're not mutually exclusive. You can be an agnostic atheist. And the fool said there is no God, and the fool said the book with talking animals is true. Good morning, Father God. You Father. What's up, James? How you doing today, my man? How's your day going? How's your day? How's your night? How's your life? How's your strife? How's your wife? How's your plight? How you doing today? Hating people and things like giving them free rent in your head and it's bad for your blood pressure. I feel like there's justified hatred. I wouldn't say what I feel about the Abrahamic religions is hatred, but even if I were to take it that far, I feel like it's justified, right? I feel like it's justified to feel a really strong disdain for the thing that was responsible for the genocide, displacement, and enslavement of your ancestors, right? I feel like that's a good thing to hate. I feel like it's a good thing to hate to the thing that's causing you to massively to catch massive disrespect when you're just trying to have a discussion, and also for that's causing people to be kept alive even though they're brain dead in order to gestate a kid, or like not gestate but to incubate a kid, and also for something to be used as a weapon against gay people and trans people. So I feel like hatred would be an appropriate feeling if somebody did think that toward the Abrahamic religions. Ruben Castillo, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We've been streaming for 2 hours and haven't prayed yet. Oh, that's a good. That might be the vibe right now. Actually, that might be the vibe. That might be the vibe. Unchained, please pray for Little Frog Chef. I got to get a little bit more drunk for this. Hold 1 second. 1 second. Do you watch Dark Matter 2525? I'm not sure who that is personally. Little Frog Chef, what do you need? What would you like me to? How would you? What would you like me to pray for you for? All right. No, fuck this. No, we're gonna do something really, really stupid really quickly. Lose some viewers, but the stream's dying down anyway. You pray that BBL loses his cardigan is fucking crazy. Damn. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't have my prayers contradict each other. And I pray for him to find his card, so I guess it worked, right? You need hands laid on you? Oh, I'm gonna lay some hands on you, all right, real quick, James. Pray for a good gym session tomorrow. God, I need a spicy prayer, right? I need a good meaty prayer. All right. I'm about to evoke the Holy Spirit really quickly. I need something really good. Really, really good. James, he's so fine and attractive. I could lay hands on him any day of the week. We don't need to pray for that. No, we got to get something that requires God's intervention. Pray for your stocks? Maybe I'm just being overly critical. I don't know. This might just be a general prayer. This might just be general. Oh yeah, I realized I haven't prayed for I haven't thanked Father God for allowing me to hit partnership. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna pray for. Wait, can you pray that you meet your dad and maybe your dad meets you? Okay, yeah, that's good enough. Fuck it, why not? Let's do it. Pray for the world to be protected from all evil and devastation. No, we only do selfish prayers around here. Okay, yeah, it's time. It's time. Ah, sheesh. Oh gosh, okay. I think it's time, y'all. Okay, what's the difference between you guys and agnostic people? I don't know. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you. But, oh gosh, I don't know why I've done this so many times. I don't know why I'm so, silly about it right now, but yeah, let's see here. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear this? I think I hear it. Wait, let me take a little sip of this wine real quick before I evoke Father God. Oh yeah. Oh man. Mama! Father! 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 I pray to you, Father. Make me your vessel, Father. I come to you today, Father. Once again, Father. You left me high, you left me bright, Father. Use me, Father. Teach me, Father. I am yours, Daddy. Make me yours. I come to you today, Father. Use me as a vessel for the Holy Spirit. So that this chatter's father may meet them and that he may meet his father. This whole chat needs you, Daddy God. We are yours and you are mine, Father. Yeah. Yes. I come to you today, Father. Put me on my knees. Use me. Come in me, Father. Come in me, Father God. Teach me. I am yours. Make this mess. Put me on my knees. Go down on me. Fill me up with your holy water. Oh, shit. I feel it. Father! Oh my God, yeah. Father! Father! Oh, I'm yours! Make me yours! Oh, right there! Right there! Oh. Change the world! Oh! 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 Yeah! Oh! In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen. In Jesus' holy, holy name I pray. Amen. Amen. Brother James, paying his tithes, paying his offering to the Church of the Unchained Skeptic. Thank you so much for the $19.99 super sticker. Thank you for being you, Brother James, and for being in my holiest, holiest of congregations today. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, when you get used by Daddy God, he uses you like a puppet. Yeah. Let's get an amen in the chat for Brother James with a $19.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Brother James. Don't thank me for being me. God has changed
Musical
me.
notes emoji, joy to the world. The Lord hath come, eggplant emoji, nervous
Joy
sweat emoji.
to the world. The Lord has come, for he has come in me. He's made me his. I drink his piss. Oh Lord, wash over me. Oh Lord, wash over me. Oh Lord, the Father God has came in me. Ah. Brother Ariok Stump, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you for paying your tithes. Thank you so much. Let's get a W for Brother Ariok. Let's also get a W for Brother James for that $19.99 super sticker. Your prayers worked. My dad came in through the door and pounded your little booty, and it wasn't with his belt. Praise God! Praise God! Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second.
I know I'm supposed to go to my seat now.
God at
I
work.
was a 10-year cancer survivor, and she's standing right there. Wave your hand, mama. 10
Wave
years
'em.
ago, she went through 6 months of chemotherapy, 34 treatments of radiation. You can't tell me what God wants.
His dad came back.
Don't you stand there like he's not a miracle worker. He's working a miracle for you right now. Somebody beside you don't understand your praise, but I want you to grab somebody around you that don't mind dancing, that don't mind praising, and I want you to hit the floor right now. Don't y'all let mama dance by herself.
Yeah, right there.
Come on in here. I feel a praise in this room.
Wait, listen. See, some of y'all looking around.
Ooh. That's not me clapping my hands, by the way.
That when you really been through something, some of you been through enough hell that you owe God a shout tonight. You owe
God!
We might as well leave giving God the praise that he's due.
Praise him. Praise him. His dad came back. It was prayed for, and it happened. That's what happens when you're on the side of God. 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 Yeah. I'm going to drink some more wine. If Jesus didn't want you drinking wine, he would have never made water into wine. Let's get a praise Jesus. Make him clap for Daddy God. Yeah. I make him clap for Daddy God. My hands, of course. Just the hands that are on the insides of my ass cheeks. 1 second. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. I think I feel it again, actually. I think I feel another one. I feel like another one coming on. Wait a second. What is this? I feel some cold heat. I feel some cold heat right now. Larry Hayes, brother Larry, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. I feel some cold heat coming. Use me again. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, wait. The whole arm? The whole arm? Oh my god. Oh, touch. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh my you. Oh. Yes, Davis, what the hell? Oh my god. Holy Spirit, go down on me. Amen. 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 All right, that's enough of that. It's back to the real discussion at hand. Oh, wait, I just hit my 3 hours. Matter of fact, I'm just going to end it there. I'm just going to end it there. Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Let's end it there. Hit my 3 hours. You know, hit the good old 3 hours. Why not? Anyway. Those last couple hits of those last couple swigs of wine really hit. Oh, if I don't know if you could tell, but yeah, that hit. It hit me out of nowhere. Sorry that you had to see that. I do apologize. But yeah. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch, TikTok. I have 2 TikToks. Follow my main and my backup. Follow me on X, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Trovo. I'm going to live stream to all 8 of those previous platforms at once in the near future. Follow me on Clapper, Lemonade, Blue Sky, Threads. Join my subreddit. Join my Discord server if you're over the age of 18. Add me on Snapchat if you're over the age of 18. If you want to support the stream, PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, Patreon. I have crypto addresses. I have a wish list. So, yeah, follow me on Grindr as well. And OnlyFans. And Jerkmate. I'm not even joking. If you go to my bio, my beacons, and click all of my socials, scroll toward the bottom, OnlyFans, Grindr, Jerkmate is right there. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking. I'm not even joking. Click those, please. I promise. What do I type? I got you, Atomic Chicken. Wait a second. I got you. And I got everybody. Okay. That one took it out of me. I'm so sorry. I was actually dancing with that little praise break in the middle. But yeah, Beacons the AI. Click all of my socials, click that tab, and then scroll toward the bottom. So, all right. Have a good rest of y'all night. I appreciate y'all being here, but I'm gonna go to sleep.